Everyone, welcome to Labor Day. If you guys have not been partying and hanging out all weekend, then you've definitely missed out. I haven't partied, so you're good. You're in good company. I see Chloe and Judy have checked in the chat. Welcome in, you guys. If you are here and you are not checked into the chat, please feel free to check in. I'm needing to change out my needle real quick before I get going today. So we are going to be sewing the pinwheel units today. So all of my half square triangles that I have available that are ready are now cut, or they're now trimmed, so I can put them together. I did move my machine closer to my camera. Joyce is doing the chat. She says, yay, made it in time. Yes, you did. Susie is also here as well. She says, hello from Buffalo, Wyoming. I do know where Buffalo is now. I have been to Buffalo at least once now. So glad you are here. Glad. I'm going to be working on sewing all of these together. Glenda is here as well. She just joined into the chat. This is the first time I've tried to change my needle since getting this wrist brace. So it is a little bit more challenging than I expected. It's news to me, but it is more hard. It is harder than I expected. Sir? No, sir. Go settle. Go settle, please. So we do have the puppy in here with us tonight. So you guys may get to see him off and on depending on how active he decides to be or how much trouble he decides to get into. Sir, where are you going? Where are you going? Come on, stay in here. He's wanting to wander off, so I do apologize. I do kind of want him to hang out if possible, but if he doesn't, it is what it is. So I did put you guys at a different angle for the camera. Please let me know if this angle works. If it does not and we need to make adjustments, please let me know and I'll take you guys off this camera. I'll move it around and we'll set back up. I'm trying to get it to where I'm not putting like my whole arm and shoulder in the way, and you guys can still see what's going on. Let me grab one thing real quick because I can actually zoom in, I think. Nope, I am completely zoomed in, so I have no more zoom in. Okay, it didn't hurt to try. So what we are doing today is going to be the pinwheels. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay one out. And this is going to be my guideline to follow. So this little pinwheel right here is going to be my guideline. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it off to the side so that I can still see it. So it's in my view. You guys may not be able to see it, but it's in my view. And as I pull these pairs off of the stacks that I've got, I've got 4 more stacks. Like, I've got big stacks, you guys. We got hours of work. So as I pull these pairs off, I will just orient the pairs in the right order, and I will sew them together, and then orient the next, orient the bottom half and sew through, and just keep doing that. So how are you guys doing for your Labor Day holiday weekend? I know I caught Russ earlier. I didn't catch him live, but I caught the replay, and it seems like he had a good time putting stuff together earlier today. And I don't know who else was live today. I didn't happen to catch all of the lives. I went out, and my husband and I went on a little hike. This wouldn't be a traditional hike for most people, but it's probably about what I could handle. So I was kind of proud of what I managed to do. So there is a park up here called Crimson Dawn, and you can Google Crimson Dawn. They have a tour every summer solstice, so at June 21st. They have a tour that they do, and during that tour they are explaining all of the witches that are supposedly found up on the mountain. So there's a scarlet witch or red witch or crimson. I don't know what the red color is, so you'll have to bear with me. I don't remember what the red color was. I don't know if it was scarlet or crimson. There is an emerald witch, a topaz witch. I mean, they're all fairy tale story kind of things. But, I'd never been able to go on the tour, and I, was kind of interested in what all was going on up there. So now we have done a little bit of the tour. We did about half of the trail. There's 2 parts to the trail, and we did one half. And so we'll go up and do the other half another day. But one half of it was more than enough for me for today. I think that was all I could handle. Chloe says that she's not doing too bad. She's tired from playing in the pool today. Well, that's a good problem to have. That is a very good problem to have. Getting to play in the pool is absolutely worth the time. So, the husband has left. So that's why we have the dog in here today. Susie says that she spent the weekend in the mountains and harvesting cucumbers, tomatoes, and squash when we got home. Oh my gosh. That's a lot to harvest. I have not been able to get anything to grow here. I have some what's supposed to be dwarf sunflowers on my patio. And guys, they did not grow worth anything. They're so pitiful. They're so pitiful. It's a mess. It's a mess. They just did not grow this year. So, Chloe says, that sounds lovely, Susie. Yes, it does. Agreed. Very much agreed. I love spending time in the mountains. That is one thing that we do not have a shortage of here in Wyoming is mountains. So yeah, it is absolutely worth doing. Absolutely worth doing. So Crimson Dawn is up on the mountain. So when we go up there, I do have to keep in mind that we are at a higher elevation than my normal everyday. And so I have to keep that in mind for like my asthma and such. That, I need to stop before I get to the point where I'm having trouble breathing. And I should have brought my inhaler today, and I completely spaced on that. But it was okay. Worst case scenario, my husband could drive us. I wasn't up there by myself. If I'd been up there by myself, it would have been a bigger issue. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a stack of these and put them, because these are all stacks of 4. They should all be stacks of 4. I'm going to put them all in the pinwheel order, and I can pick up from the stack, and we will see how this goes for speed of sewing. Alright, so this stack is a stack of 4, so I'm just going to pick up a set and sew it through, and then pick up a set and sew it through. And I could do these just in, they're going to be the same either way. So, like, if I, sewed them just in pairs of 2 randomly, I could come back and, go the opposite direction. Just, how I put the 4 patches together. But I don't feel like doing that with these. Charlotte has joined the chat. Welcome in. She says, hey, Tammy and everyone. Welcome, welcome. You guys, I was so impressed. We had 31 viewers last night. I don't think I've ever seen my viewership during a live be that long. So that was really exciting, you guys. You guys impressed me so much. I know, I'm impressed by little things, right? It's all the little things. It's all the little things. The puppy dog has found a squeaky toy of some sort. and is out in the living room squeaking it because he knows he'll get in trouble and it'll get taken away if he brings it in here. I can hear him, but he is out there entertaining himself because mommy's not entertaining him. I did try something, you guys. So for those who were suggesting me put a scrap of fabric, I went to bed last night and somebody pulled up outside of our apartment complex. Katie is here. Welcome in. She says hello, Tammy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So that inside my brace is a sticker, and so there's this blue mesh material, and then there's like a plasticky sticker tag that is in the brace, and that was sticking constantly. And last night somebody came by our apartment complex, our apartment building, and had flashy lights. Well, of course, I'm getting up to see if it's like an ambulance or fire truck or, you know, something that means that, you know, there's somebody in distress. You know, I want to go see and make sure I know what's going on. Well, it was somebody doing DoorDash. I don't know how come around midnight somebody's doing DoorDash. I don't know if it was actual DoorDash or what, but it was just an oversized pickup truck with flashy lights on the roof of his truck. And his passenger got out, and she was carrying a paper bag with, I guess, groceries in it, and carrying it to an apartment. And then the next thing I know, like, I've gotten back in bed because I'm like, that's not an emergency truck. That is definitely not an emergency truck. And so I get back in bed, and I hear the truck door close, and then the lights went off and he drove away. And I was just thinking how disrespectful for them to come to the apartment complex and have these flashy lights. Well, when I get back in bed, that sticker is like stuck to my arm and it's bothering me. And so I take my brace off, and then I realize that there's like this panel here, this black fabric panel that is protecting my arm from the Velcro. Well, this panel has two sides to it, and it kind of looks like a sleeve. So I decided to separate it, and I put one part of the sleeve. So like now when I put my arm in it, I'm putting my arm in the sleeve and then positioning the brace around that. And guys, it has made such a difference already. So I'm glad you guys were thinking last night and telling me, you know, put some scrap fabric or something, because that really got me thinking about what I could do differently. And I probably would not have even thought of trying to put my hand through the sleeve and see if that would work until you guys were making a suggestion yesterday. So thank you. So school is already in session here. Aside from the private schools start tomorrow. Who all, if quilting was offered in college, would you take it? If there was a master or a bachelor degree in quilting, would you take it? That is my question for you guys. And does anybody know of any degrees that would be along those lines? Like, if there's not already, I mean, there's obviously, I've never heard of any having a quilting degree. But that would be so amazing, wouldn't it? Glenda says that is how her brace is made. Yeah, I've never had one that had this sleeve to it. I've had a carpal tunnel brace. I had one in high school. Katie, Nightbot got you. You cannot use capital letters. You can't do all caps. You use too many capital letters. Charlotte says that she would take a quilting degree. Right? Wouldn't it be so much fun? I mean, granted, you'd have to get really good at all these different things. But I guess that would. The only problem that I could see. Katie says yes, absolutely for that quilting degree. The only problem that I could see with there being a quilting degree, and absolutely I would take it, because there's so many facets to quilting. Most colleges would probably offer it as like as an associate's degree, so it'd probably be a 2-year degree instead of a bachelor's. But oh my gosh, all the techniques we could learn, you guys. There'd of course be a class on sashiko quilting. There would be a class on trapunto. There'd be probably multiple classes on applique. So you'd have to take one that was needle turn. You'd have to take one that was raw edge. You'd have to take one that is freezer paper or alternate techniques. Oh gosh, what else would we... So what classes would you... The question, good idea, Glenda. The question is, if there was a college course for you to get a bachelor's degree in quilting, would you take it? And if you would take it, what all courses do you think they would have? That's the new part of the question, is what all courses do you think they would have? Katie says that she has 2 different degrees, associate's degree for landscape design and associate of arts in fine arts. That's awesome, Katie. Mine is boring. Mine is a bachelor's in business administration with a focus in entrepreneurship. So basically my minor was entrepreneurship. So I can start businesses all day long. And I can run them. Like I can start them and run them. And it's not industry specific. So I could walk into like any industry and get going with it. Joyce says definitely, right? It'd be a lot of fun. I mean, how many different courses could they do? Judy says, I think there is a degree for fine arts and textiles or Bachelor of Arts of Fiber Arts. I think there is. I'd be hard-pressed to not believe that there is. And I do want to say that the fine arts degrees, I'm not sure that they go into the detail of quilting, for example. But there definitely is, there is a degree in textiles. But I'm not sure exactly how that works. Hi, sir. What do you need? What do you need? I just got interrupted, you guys. Oh, did you bring me a toy? Oh, bring me the toy. Come on. Come on. Bring it. Sir, bring me the toy. Oh, okay. So I got brought a hedgehog, you guys. This is our toy for right now. Okay. Thank you, sir. Good job. And his tail is hitting the table, guys. I'm sorry. Thank you, Paladin. Thank you. I know. Mommy's doing other things other than playing with you. I'm so sorry. If the squeaking gets too much, guys, let me know. And I will take it away. And we will wait for him to bring the next one. Let's see. Katie says that she is the first generation female on both sides of the family to have a college degree. That's exciting. I am the first college graduate on my dad's side of the family. There is not another college graduate before me in his side of the family. Male, female, whatever. I'm the first college graduate. Not the first to go to college, but I am the first graduate. Let's see. Charlotte says, me too, Katie. Ain't it grand, right? It is nice to have that as your status, to be able to say that you set a tradition in your family. Glenda says, never did like school. That's okay. My dad never liked school either. And he's one of the smartest people I know. My dad does not test well, and he does not write well. He can write, like physically write, but like English courses and having to read literary novels and all of that kind of thing and do research papers. That is not in his wheelhouse, and it's not in everyone's. I don't expect it to be, but he is definitely one of the smartest people I know. Chloe says the textiles are more for fashion design. That's what I was thinking too. Judy says I would get a degree in that, but wouldn't want to have to go to Atlanta for the classes. Yeah, that would be the drawback. I think that's why I think I've heard of that, is because I did live near Atlanta. But yeah, no, I am not moving to Atlanta to go take textile arts, to take a textile arts degree. It is not happening. Now granted, I do sew clothes, but it's very rare. It's not as much as it was before. Katie says it is something to be very proud of. Yes, it is. And Glenda said that is awesome, and Charlotte agrees. It wasn't so easy getting there, Glenda, says Katie. I had so many damn roadblocks get in the way that I nearly gave up on it. Yeah, it is. When you are the first to do something in your family, whether it is a big goal, a small goal, or whatever, it is definitely, you're going to have a lot of roadblocks because you are paving that path. That is kind of the whole point of paving a path. There's going to be roadblocks. Chloe agrees. Yes, definitely an accomplishment. Judy says, I got a degree in nursing, and after that schooling, I really wouldn't want to go back. I don't blame you. Nursing is a very long degree. That's the long game. I'm not set up for the long game anymore. Not like I used to be, so that would not be an option. Let's see. Chloe says, I don't love writing either. Yeah, there's a lot of people who don't. I don't mind it. I can kind of do it like second nature. But that is what I was built for. Like, that's how my brain works. It does math and it does language. Glenda says, yeah, but you made it, Katie. Right? I agree, Glenda. Katie says, I would love to do more college courses, but, well, I'm old now. There is never such a thing as too old to learn. So even if it is not a college course, you're never too old to learn. And you just have to be willing to learn it. So there's nothing wrong with that. Let's see. Charlotte says, but Tammy, we pretty much have the degree program here on YouTube. See? Right? We don't have to travel no more. Judy says, besides, I'm enjoying retirement. Right. There you go. All right. Thank you, sir. Can I have it, please? I have your hedgehog. Can I have that? Give me the napkin. Bring it. Thank you. So he brought me one of the fabric napkins because I wasn't playing with him. And I'm sorry, bud. I don't have time to throw the hedgehog all day. Can I have it real quick, please? Nope. You have to release. Thank you. Good job. Okay. It didn't go far. So, in case you're ever wondering if you ever see any of these on my channel, these are the fabric napkins that I made for our house. We will use them as paper towels. We'll use them as actual napkins. And it is just flannel. I pillowcase sewed around all four corners. I flipped it right side out, of course leaving a hole to flip it. Flipped them right side out and top stitched them in place. And they have lasted over 2 years, and they get washed every time we use them. So they are reusable. No, you do not get it back, sir. Good try. Thank you. Thank you. I'm getting nudged, guys. I'm sorry. He is very determined. All right, let's see. There we go. Glenda says, you're never too old if you want to learn. Exactly, right? Charlotte says, Katie, when I turn 65, I'll be auditioning or auditing courses at our local university extension for free. Can hardly wait. That's a great plan. If you can audit classes for free, that is fantastic. Our local college here does a program called OLLI, OLLI, and it's designed for retarees, but you pay this one-time amount. I think it's $60, and that gives you 5 classes for the year. Each class is $12, and you get the, of course, year-long membership into the OLLI program. And so you can attend bird watching courses, when there's historic, trail tours and things like that. You get to go do all of these fun things. And you might have to pay like a extra little bit here and there, like a kit fee would be for like a quilting course. But you get all of this enrichment time out of these courses, and you get to spend time with other like-minded people. I have not signed up for any yet, even though I've wanted to, just because before now we only had one car. So I had to do what was best for me and my husband together. And so I couldn't plan to go places and do things. Now that I can, I might be signing up for next year. All right, bear with me. Let's see. There we go. Yes, Katie. She says, you can do that, Charlotte? Yes, you can. Some universities do allow you to audit the courses for free. You don't get any credit for doing the course. You don't get homework or feedback on homework or anything like that. And some universities have limits on what you can audit or how many classes you can audit. But there are some courses that you can audit. Katie says that she wants to get a bachelor's degree in science or something. She said, but like I said, too late now. Not really. Katie says, those are cool, Tammy. Yes. Yeah, they really, the napkins really are. I think that's what you were referring to, was the napkins. I got, I don't know, maybe 4 yards of each of the two flannels. And you're supposed to wash them without fabric softener, and they'll absorb a little bit better. But they just go in with everything else right now. We don't have a separate wash just for the napkins. But it is fantastic because it does cut down on how many paper towels we go through, because my husband will go through a extra load of paper towels just because he can. Charlotte says, yes, Katie, you won't get a degree, but can take them for free for no credit, and they'll still show on my transcript. Oh, that's awesome that they show on your transcript. I did not think about that part. Joy says, baby wants attention, right? He is very much an attention-hungry puppy now that I'm on the live. Like, until I was on the live, it was fine. He wasn't worried about nothing. He was actually napping and not doing anything. And now that I'm on the live, he is wanting all the attentions. All the attentions. Let's see. Chloe says, what is the fabric type for the napkins? It is flannel. So it is not, you don't want to use regular cotton. You do want to use flannel, because it gives you, I turned that somehow. Okay. Either way, this is the right direction for this set. So I think what I may just start doing is putting these sets together and just making sure I flip them the right way, because they're going to go together either way. Yeah, if you use flannel and you don't use fabric softener when you wash them, they will be a lot more absorbent. When we went to move out of our last place, our last house in Alabama, I had to go and scrub the walls. Like, we had not done as much, house cleaning and things like that we needed to do. And it was a brand spanking new house. And so it had like the one coat of paint that you get in a brand new house. We were the first people to ever live there. Sir, what do you have? Okay, that's one of yours. You're allowed to have that one. Yeah, I see the bear. So, but I took several of those and just scrubbed the walls with them. And a few of them I've had to throw out because, they were just too worn after scrubbing the walls with them. But guys, the rest of them have held up beautifully. I mean, I can't tell you everything that these napkins have been through already. And they wash up beautifully. There's one or two of them that have a few stains, but that happens. Let's see. Glenda says, my brother and 2 sisters graduated, but not me. I got a job at 15, got married at 16, just so I could leave home. I don't blame you. I know quite a few people who have done similar things. My brother was not cut out for college. He's very much like my dad, and my brother was very capable. He could have gone through college, but my brother gets very distracted. The public school tried to diagnose him with not autism, ADHD, and of course my mom fought that diagnosis because when he was little it was brand spanking new, and they didn't believe in ADHD, and wanted to medicate him, so they moved him to private school where he did fantastic, but everything was so easy for him at private school that he just kind of like threw in the towel on working hard, and so when he went to college he really didn't want to apply himself. So it wasn't that he couldn't do anything or that he couldn't get through college or couldn't get through tech courses or anything like that. But my brother was definitely somebody who would have done well at like a trade school, for example, instead of going to college. He would have done a lot better just going to trade school and learning a trade that he enjoyed versus going to college. Let's see. Charlotte says, Glenda, college was how I ran away from home. I feel you. That's how I ran away from home too. It really is. I did not want to hang around. And that was definitely personal preference. I do see the questions about asking what size. My only rulers are over here. Bear with me just a second. They are 8 inches finished square. So 8 inches finished square. So I believe I cut them at 8.5 or 9. I probably cut them at, my guess is that I would cut them at 9, because out of 42 inches you would get, no, you wouldn't get that right. Let me see. Because what I actually did, how I figured it out, was, let's see the math on this. I think it may have been 60-inch fabric. 8.5. Yeah, that's about right. I think it was 60-inch flannel. So I got about 8.5-inch squares out of each strip. So, maybe that's how I figured it out. But basically what I did is I figured out, what my, how many I could cut out of a strip that would be, a good hand size. I wanted something bigger than this, but that was what I came up with. And, just cut the sizes out of that to have very little waste, if any. And just, use that as my size. So whatever fabric you get, whatever flannel size you get, whether it's 42 or 60, just, measure like your width of fabric from selvage to selvage, of course, cutting off your selvage, and see what kind of length you have, and then just cut your strips, so that way you're not wasting any extra fabric. That's what I was going for, is not wasting fabric when I did it. Jacqueline says, hello everyone. Oh, welcome in, Jacqueline. She says, just got back from a shopping trip with her sister, went to Joann's and picked up some fat quarters and thread, but the other fabric shops we stopped at were closed. Oh no, that's disappointing. So our Wyoming State Shop Hop ran through August 31st, and I started seeing notices like maybe 4 or 5 days before the Shop Hop closed that, hey, we'll be closed for the 31st because we're taking that off as part of the Labor Day holiday. And I'm just thinking, all of these shops, we're running the Shop Hop through the 31st, and there's a good number of these shops that are going to be closed. I really hope the people that were counting on visiting these shops during the Labor Day weekend made sure to call ahead to make sure that their shops were open, because some of these shops are a pretty decent drive, depending on where you're coming from. Let's see. Glenda says, thank you. You're very welcome. Joy says, I use old towels, just dibble them. Yeah. I was going to use old towels, but I basically got rid of all of our old towels. When we were getting ready to move, we kind of decided on towels that are a towel that my husband liked, a towel that I liked, and so we each have 2 towels per per ourselves. Like, so he has 2 towels, I have 2. And then we got some complimentary towels to what we use. And then we had some black towels. And I don't know where they came from. So I have no idea. Honestly, no idea. But we had 4 of them. So I went ahead and dubbed those the dog towels. So my dog has 4 towels of his own. 3 of which I know where they're at. I think my husband has absconded with one for his umpire stuff. And then I think we have one that's just a used for whatever kind of towel. But all the rest of our towels, I just went ahead and did garage sailing with them to get rid of them. And guys, when I put those towels out for sale at the garage sale, I was actually kind of shocked at how fast they went. Like, the first garage sale that I had the towels out there, they didn't move at all. Like, seriously, nobody wanted, used towels. I mean, they were great shape. A lot of them were less than a few months old. Like, it was just that we weren't going to use that color, or we were looking at bath sheets. We wanted the big towels, the oversized towels. So we were getting rid of all the small ones, the ones that, that were a little dinky or might have one hole in them, or, stuff like that. So we're getting rid of all of those towels. And, I mean, at first they didn't move. And then, like, the very next garage sale, I think 2 people cleared me out. And, I mean, I had a lot of towels, guys. We had collected towels throughout the years. When we were driving truck, if we got to a point where, we needed a towel on the truck for, that was not the towel that we'd been using, like we needed one to lay on the floor for when the dog is wet, or, lay on the floor underneath our dirty boots, whatever we needed a towel for. We'd find a Walmart somewhere and stop and get a towel. It was just easier than just trying to keep up with them. And I still managed to keep up with them, so we ended up with a whole bunch of extras. And they were just towels we didn't care about. Like, towels that we had no emotional or decorative attachment to them. And I don't know where the puppy wandered off to, you guys. I don't have a squeaky toy to call him with, so we will see when the puppy shows up again. I was thinking about, like, that would be an awesome way to use the towels, is to go ahead and cut them all up and, sew the edges, like serge the edges, and be able to use them that way. But we already had so much going on with, moving and everything else. That was just one more thing I didn't have time or energy for. Charlotte says we keep 6 towels on hand just in case the young grands spend the night. I don't blame you. So my husband and I each have 2 of our bath sheets. And then I have 4, and I think he has 6 towels that are like backup towels that we can use for whatever. So, like, if I, wanted to dye my hair and, I didn't, the other towels were already in use or whatever, or we didn't care about it, I could, dry my hair after dyeing it with that. Anything like that. Like, I can use them for that. Or put dirty boots on them, or, whatever. We have extras. We have plenty. We didn't get rid of all of our plenty. We just got rid of all of the older plenty that was taking up 3 cabinets. We had an entire linen closet full from top to bottom with nothing but towels. And we knew we weren't going to have that kind of space. We were going to have, a small area for towels. So it wasn't worth keeping. Chloe says that she was telling her husband we need to get new towels. Ours are 18 years old. Oh my gosh. Charlotte, I love your answer, sweetheart. Your answer just came in time for me to read it. She says, Chloe, either that or get a dog. Oh, that's hilarious. All right, so Chloe, before you get rid of the old towels, my hair is long enough that I use those hair turban things. If you've never seen them, if any of your children or your nieces, nephews, whoever in the family, or sisters, brother, I don't know many guys with long hair, so pardon, but if anybody with long enough hair, like, shoulder length or longer, I've seen people with shorter hair use them, but usually if you have shoulder length or like at least like mid neck or longer hair, those hair turban things. So you can take all the old towels and make hair turbans out of them. You can also make, this is going to sound really cheesy, so I will apologize in advance for how cheesy this is about to sound. One project that I made years ago was a towel wraparound to wear at the YMCA or to wear at a public pool. So, like, you've got to shower before you go get in the pool, or like when you get out of the, shower at the Y, you don't want to like wrap your towel around and have to hang on to it. There is a pattern where you can make a towel wraparound, and you like put a button and an elastic loop, and you add elastic to the top of the towel so it's going to, stay where you put it. I made one of those with an old towel too. Judy says, I love those hair turbans for my hair. Used to use towels for years. Now I'm spoiled, right? So I have used them long enough that, gosh, the original version of the quote Turby Twist, if you don't know them by that name, then where have you been and what have you watched? Because they were all over TV as seen on TV item. The Turby Twist had an elastic band, elastic loop, kind of like hair elastic, whatever, for you to put around a button that was attached to the bottom or the back of the hair turban. Well, the new versions, there's a new version out. The new versions are, how are they set up? I'm trying to think. Oh, so the elastic loop is actually at the back of your neck. And so when you twist the the towel part, the turban part, and you go to attach it, you are attaching it through the elastic loop. So there's no button involved anymore. There used to be a button, and now there's no button. So I have both styles. I will say I don't like the microfiber ones that much. My hair does not jive with them. I don't know if it's something in microfiber that my hair just clings to and doesn't want to dry, or what the deal is, but yeah, those hair turban things, they are gold. They are gold. And you can probably, depending on the size of the bath towel, you can probably make 2 out of every bath towel. If you're using a bath sheet, you can probably make like 3 or 4, just depending on how you lay it out and how you cut it. And I bet there's free patterns online if you don't already have some to use as a template. And just make sure you use a ballpoint needle when you sew it. For all your other sewing tips and tricks, please meet me on XYZ channel. Just kidding. Katie, thank you. She says y'all hit that thumbs up like button. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I was at 407 or 408 subscribers as of this morning. I think I lost a subscriber last night during the live, but that's okay. It happens. Part of it's YouTube kicking people off. Part of it is if somebody changes their username, it might mess with their subscriptions, and somebody may have just hit unsubscribe for whatever reason, but that's okay. It happens. But if you guys can help me get to 500, then we will be monetized over here and can start doing some more fun stuff. I'm not planning to do a channel membership, so that is not in the cards. So you never have to worry about being second rate or second class because you don't pay a subscription fee. I'm not going to put anyone through that. I can't afford to do a channel subscription on anyone's channel, so I would hate for you to feel like you have to do it on mine. So yeah, we are going to, I'm trying to get to that monetization point so that we can start opening up some additional options. Now I am planning to do the Zoom. Sorry, it is not going to be a live, it is going to be a Zoom. And it is going to be for subscribers only. So you do have to have an active subscription. A subscription is free, so no charge for it. But we are going to do a subscription or subscribers only Zoom on the last weekend in September. I did talk it over with the husband. As of right now, it looks like we're going to do an even longer Zoom than before. So I will have more details Tuesday. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And how is this camera angle working for you guys? Can you guys see what I'm doing? Like, I know I'm picking things up and then putting things back down, but can you guys see when this stuff is going through the machine? Like, is this clear enough? Or did you guys like the behind the, or like the angle down angle better? Let me know in the comments what y'all liked. And if you are watching this on replay, if you are not watching this live, you know, later on or whatever, definitely put it in the comments. You do not, I don't believe you have to be a subscriber to put a comment in. You do have to be a subscriber to chat live. But you don't have to be a subscriber to put comments in, I don't believe. Judy says, good to know. I am on a budget and can't afford all those subscriptions. I would have to give up fabric buying, right? I've already got so much on my plate right now, and we are trying desperately to get to the point where we will qualify for buying a home starting in January. Our window for doing the application process is in January. So we have to get some stuff paid off and get some stuff cleared up. So putting extra money out is not an option right now, especially not given our current situation. Angle is good. We've got Charlotte, Judy, and Glenda saying angle is good. That works. See, I mean, I can see my screen, but I don't know. You know what? Let me actually take the extra one off. There we go. Now I can kind of see more of what you guys are seeing. I have it set up where I can see 2 copies of myself at most of the time. And that prevents me from doing the really crazy, silly stuff where I kind of forget to do things. Because that has happened occasionally. But now I've got it set to where I can see a bigger version of what you guys are seeing. And that just makes it simpler. So, yeah, we are hopeful that we will qualify for a home. It's going to be January before we can apply, so, you know, Christmas is going to be tight. You know, we're going to adjust Christmas. Oh, speaking of adjusting Christmas, you guys. Oh my gosh, you guys will love this idea. Okay, I hope you will like this idea. Let's put it that way. I hope you will like it. I'm going to go ahead and take my pinwheel off the table, the extra one, because I don't need it sitting up there anymore. I think I've got this pretty well set. As long as I reverse the pinwheel set or the half square triangle set the opposite way each time, then I think I will be all right. And if not, we'll find out later. We'll find out the hard way. Nothing a seam ripper can't fix. So Maritza is here as well. Welcome in, Maritza. Are you using a walking foot? No, I am not. I am actually using, this is a dual feed foot. So my needle, let me get my needle into some fabric real quick. That way that other doesn't pull my thread. Because I know it might, I've got some weight behind it because I've got all those sets already back there. All right. So this foot is a dual feed foot. So there is if you guys can see this little piece back there, that is acting like a walking foot does. I have a feed dog that is directly underneath where this little lever goes. So it does work like a walking foot. But thankfully I have that good 1/4 inch guide, 1/4 inch edge, so I know exactly where my 1/4 inch is, and I don't have to stress about it. So technically yes, but technically no. Don has joined the chat. Welcome in, Don. Glad you made it, sir. We are working on the pinwheels for my client's quilts. I've got a few. I've got one. Oh, I've got 3 that I will have to go back and fix fabric for. When I was ironing everything, my iron spit out something akin to something from the Swamp Thing. I have no idea what it was, but it left some marks on the light green fabric. I do have extra of that. And then I am going to have to piece some dark green fabric together. So this is most all of the pieces. It is not every last bit of them, but it is most of them. And I heard you were traveling, so I'm glad you are safe. All right. So we were talking earlier about doing college courses for quilt design or quilting. And then now, let's see. Oh, the topic was Christmas. Okay. So Christmas is coming up. So instead of doing what we've always done for Christmas, which is I make a list of things I want, and then I give husband the list, and he might or might not get it. And he always surprises me with, something unique. Don says, it was a good trip. That's awesome. Awesome to hear. So he always surprises me with, something exorbitant. I don't know how much he pays for some of this stuff, guys. But my husband is one of those that he likes to give. He likes to gift things. And it's really hard to match him. It is absolutely hard to match him. Sorry, my arm is itching. Hang on. I am not getting over this itching. I am definitely going to have to do some kind of skincare treatment. I am doing lotion, so, my skin isn't drying out. It's just my skin moving in the brace. I might see I don't know if shaving my arm would help or not. Okay, sidetrack. Sorry. Okay, so for Christmas, my husband likes to do a lot of gifts. And guys, I might have double the gifts to open that when my husband has to open. He is incredibly hard to buy for. And to find something unique that he hasn't already seen that is special or whatever, guys, it is a pain, absolute pain to try to shop for him. He is one of those that is incredibly hard to shop for. So what I've come up with, both to save us some money and so that I might stand a fighting chance at Christmas this year, instead of doing a big Christmas Day, everything gets open Christmas Day kind of thing, we are going to do advent calendars for each other. So somebody has suggested in one of the young and millennial quilter groups that I'm in, all the people slightly younger than me, not by much, but slightly younger than me. She was saying, well, I was thinking about having my husband pick out all these fat quarters and do an advent calendar of fat quarters for me for Christmas. Guys, I love that idea. Absolutely love that idea. Marissa is here saying hi to everybody, tagging a whole bunch of people. So I love the idea of getting a fat quarter every day. And fat quarters are not that expensive. So they're not super, it's not super expensive, but anything I would buy for my husband for an advent calendar will probably be more expensive than a fat quarter. But I know him. I know his penchant for buying gifts, because he is one of those people that likes to buy lots and lots of gifts. So he is going to put together an advent calendar for me that is fat quarters, and hopefully he will stick to the assignment. It is yet to be seen if he will do it, but we're going to see if he can stick to the assignment. And I am going to probably get him a lot of salt and pepper shakers. And I will find them in all kinds of different places. He may get salt one day and pepper another day, things like that. We're going to put together some kind of way to do like a daily gift for 25 days where everything is little bitty things. That way maybe he won't like go off the deep end, and I will give him a budget of what he's allowed to spend and tell him what card he's allowed to spend it on. That way I don't look at that card. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. That is going to be our Christmas this year. And so that way we can save up to buy a house. Save up and put us in a financial position to buy a house. Because that's what we're trying to do. So what do you guys think of the Advent calendar? Do you think your family would go for that idea? And do you think your family would stick to, like, if you put $5 or less for each Advent calendar item? Do you think you could do it? I mean, $5 is still, for 25 days, is still, it's not cheap, but it's not insane. It's not, blowing a complete budget if you can stick to it. Who all thinks my husband will stick to the budget? Because I don't. I'm still going to try to get him to. The chat went quiet, you guys. You must have been listening to me. This 30-second delay thing. Alright. And Puppy has probably fallen asleep. That would be my guess, is that Puppy has decided to lay down and take a nap. That's why we haven't seen him a little bit. I do have something to get his attention if I need to, though. I now have an empty Dr. Pepper bottle. And that is, like, the ultimate goal for him. Judy says he won't stick to the budget. Chloe says maybe. Charlotte says, my mister and I decided that we have everything we need and most of what we want, so we only buy Christmas for the grandkids. See, I've tried that approach. I've tried we have everything that we need. Chloe says, no, it'd be tough. Yes, right? So, I am at that point where I have everything that I need. I really don't. I mean, there's things I want. Don't get me wrong. There's things I want. But like a 12-foot frame and long arm or 14-foot frame and long arm, that's not gonna work. Glenda says he might surprise you and stick to it. We can hope. Charlotte says, I doubt yours will stick to your budget. Probably not. That's kind of where my vote is I doubt he will stick to the budget. Maybe if I give him, just say, use, this card or whatever and make sure there's only that much on the card. Maybe. Maybe that'll get me by. I don't know. We can hope. It's silly hopes, right? I could do with like a 14-foot long arm with digitizing stitching and all of that. But, that's not in the budget. Joyce says, since I'm on a budget, I start getting my Christmas gifts in January because I have too dang many to buy for. Plus, I'm working on quilts for all the great grandkids. Yeah, I totally understand that. I have one gift left over from last year that did not get sent to my parents. So I already have one gift for my mom for Christmas. I don't have anything for my dad yet, but that's my husband's purview. My husband finds the weirdest things and somehow gets it right for my dad. I don't know how it happens. But he also finds stuff for mom too. Like he's the best shopper in the world. Chloe says, I can't believe Christmas is around the corner. Right? Charlotte says, please let us know how it goes, right? So my husband woke me up the other day, and this was like 2 or 3 days ago, guys. Literally, not even a week ago. He woke me up and went, There's only this many weeks to Christmas. No, I don't remember how many weeks he said. I blocked that out of my mind. But yes, he told me how many weeks until Christmas. Guys, Christmas Day is when I have got set to have my temperature quilt done. And I'm working on everything but my temperature quilt right now. So, no, it is not going to be done on time, probably. But it needs to be. It needs to be. So if I take a sabbatical and don't work on anything, publicly, you guys know what the problem is. I probably will work on it on Quilt Retreat. When we do the sewing Zoom, the Zoom retreat, that's probably when I'm going to do that. Let's see. Judy says put pictures around of houses and put notes on it for the goal. That doesn't work. Because he will actually send me, he will go on Zillow and all of that. He will send me pictures of houses, and I'm the one that has to go, well, that won't work because of this, or that house isn't a fit for us because of this. He's like, I know, but I like this part. I'm like, okay, we'll take a picture of that part. Well, I've already deleted it from my search now. I'm like, really? It makes it so tough. Chloe says, that's a good plan because you can find deals, Joyce, right? And Chloe likes the idea, Judy. Oh, yeah, about putting the pictures. I wish that would work with him. He is not amenable to that idea. Oh, my brother and sister will tell me what my mom needs for Christmas, and I just get it and send it to them. That works, Judy. That works. See, I will get my mom on the phone, and I'll make sure that Dad's not around and ask her if Dad needs anything. And, of course, the answer is always, some kind of clothing, something or other, like socks or whatever. Susie says, housing market is crazy expensive. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We are... The process in January is to apply to see if we qualify. It's not even that we're actually going to qualify. It's not even that we're going to get get what we're looking for. And we still may be another 1.5 years out from actually getting a house, even in January. So, we could still be here for another 1.5 years. So it is what it is. We've looked at houses in the past, and we qualified before we moved up here for one amount of housing, and then when we told the lady what our down payment could be, what our closing costs and what we could bring to the table, it didn't sound like she was still working on a VA loan, which is what she was supposed to be working on. And it just kind of, it put us in a bad spot because we really were, hoping to get into a home versus getting into an apartment first thing moving up here. But it is what it is. I can't go back and fix that. And then the housing market hasn't really gotten much better. But this would be a specialized program that we might qualify for. So we have to get things in order between now and January so that we qualify, so that we can, go forward with the process. We need to be the best applicant that they have in order to get picked, if that makes sense. Judy says, my dad has passed, and my mom lives in assisted living, so she doesn't have much room for stuff. That makes sense. My thing, if I move into an assisted living, because we've looked at that as an option. Charlotte says, oh, wow, Judy, I'm sorry. Yeah, sometimes assisted living is the best thing. Believe it or not. So we moved my brother-in-law into an assisted living facility. And guys, if that facility was here, I would absolutely be, if they would qualify me based off of my income to move in, if my husband was not here, that's probably where I would be. Just because I do need that extra help, and having somebody there 24/7 to be able to do that, extra help or emergency help or whatever would be an absolute lifesaver for me. So that's, and I'm in my 40s, guys. I'm not very old. But assisted living is not the worst thing in the world. Joyce says my daughter works for a realtor there in Casper. Not sure which one, but we'll let you know in a few days, Tammy. Awesome, Joyce. Yeah, just send me an email. If you don't have my email, let's see. Oh, you know what? Let me get back to the window. You guys, I'm trying to type and there's nothing there. There we go. All right, so that should pop up my email if Nightbot likes me. Yeah, Judy says that it is the safest place for her mother. Yes, right? Assisted living is not as bad as it seems, depending on your situation. Like I would, especially here, I have no family to like move in with me and make sure that, you know, I eat and all of that. And in a lot of assisted living facilities, there are meal plans and there will be somebody that's putting their eyes on you at least every so many days. So like you're not going to go unnoticed and you're not going to go ignored. You're able to go about your normal life. And you're able to still have a lot of independence, but you have the ability to have that help, you know, just down the hallway or just push the button or something like that. And that's not always a bad thing. Charlotte says, I know, Judy, I just wish my mom would go willingly. That is the challenge. I mean, a lot of people don't see assisted living the way that I do. I kind of have to look at it that way because my husband is 20 years older than me. So there is that very real possibility that I could end up without him at some point. And, you know, my son and I don't have a relationship. So, you know, I can't necessarily go, well, hey, you know, son, move up here. You know, because that's not fair to him. And I want him to be able to live his life. And I don't want to be that kind of burden. So, you know, assisted living is something that I have considered for myself. And if my husband and I were not married, that is probably where I would end up being, even now. Just because of how many medical issues I have and how difficult it can be for me to, you know, maintain everything all by myself. Because it can get very overwhelming and I can wind myself up and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So it's an option in the back of my head. It's not, you know, it's not I want to go to assisted living tomorrow, but that's one of those that I have considered it. And I would definitely be one of those that needs the extra room so that I can take all my sewing and quilting stuff with me. Because you better believe I will be in there sewing till the cows come home. Charlotte says, same here, Tammy. I don't want to burden my daughter. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing. Okay. So here's the other side of it. When I had my hip surgery, my mom came and stayed with me. Now, this was my home that I was living in. Well, my husband and I were renting it, but we were the ones responsible for the home. And my mom decided that she was coming to stay with me until my husband got back home. So for the 2 weeks or whatever that he was going to be gone, she was coming to live with me. I did not get a choice about it. I tried to argue it. It was not an arguable point because she was not going to take no for an answer. And she did live close enough to come live with me. Guys, I do love my mother, so please do not take this poorly. I do love her. However, she and I are not suited to live in the same home if I want any independence whatsoever. And I feel like that would be the same thing with me having anyone else in the home. If I don't feel like I have independence, I am going to completely flip out on people. I will be crying. I will be fussing. I will be making everyone else's life a living nightmare solely because I want to feel independent. So assisted living would give me that independence. Glenda says, so sorry, Judy. At least they keep watch over her. Are you right? She says, yes, they do a great job watching over her. I go up every 2 months to visit her. That's perfect. Charlotte says, that would irreparably damage whatever relationship I still have with my mom. Yeah, forcing someone to do something that they're not willing to do does cause damage. When I had to move my brother-in-law from assisted living into a nursing home, that definitely caused some additional damage until probably about a week before he passed away, maybe 2 weeks. He finally accepted that he was actually where he needed to be, that it was the best place for him. He was having way too many medical issues. He was actually enjoying the fact that they were doting and carrying on him. And he was one of those people that you don't miss him. Like, you don't not know who he is. Like, everybody on that floor, I can guarantee you, everybody on that floor knew who my brother-in-law was. Like, he was not one of those people that goes quietly into the night and you never know his life story or what he's done in his life or all these, women that he's dated. He was one of those kinds of guys. He was always a ladies' man. So for him, realizing that he was in the best place he needed to be and that he wasn't being ill cared for, he finally realized that, okay, all right, I'm sorry for making it such a pain in the rear for you guys. But it took a lot for him to get to that point. So I can understand how, making that move before someone is ready would definitely be the harder choice to make. You don't want to make somebody move to a facility that they're not happy with well before that, they absolutely need it. And if they just absolutely need it, then that's what you do. So, a lot of people want to stay in their home. If my home was this apartment, I can guarantee you that would not be the case. I do not have, I'm not emotionally attached to this particular apartment. There's nothing that would, make me happier than having my own place. But, if I decided I wanted to stay in my home and I didn't want to leave and I had all the accommodations I needed, then it'd be one thing. But if it's not where I want to be, it's a different story. If we get into the home that we're looking at or the housing option that we're looking at, and we're the ones that they choose in January after the application process, then I probably won't want to leave that place because I already kind of know what I'd be looking at. So Judy says the hardest part for her and us was when she had to take her car. We had to take her car away from her. Oh, that is tough. That is definitely tough. My brother-in-law did not handle that part well either. That was a big blow to his independence. However, without his vehicle, golly guys, he convinced the staff of all these trips that they needed to take. He weaseled his way in. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. He weaseled his way in to whoever the event planner was. And he made sure that anytime they were leaving in that bus to take a social trip, he made sure he was on that bus. Charlotte says, I get that, Judy. My mom can't really drive anymore, but she just won't get rid of it. Yeah. My grandmother's kind of in that boat. She doesn't need to be driving anymore. It's already been proven she does not need to be driving anymore. But taking that car away is not an option. Because the people who are in the position to take the car away haven't done it and won't do it. Because, they just refuse to be the adults in the situation. It is what it is. I can see it from both perspectives. I wouldn't want my car taken away from me, but if you're offering me an alternative where I don't have to worry about transportation, and, okay, I'll tell a funny here in a second. But if you're offering me an alternative transportation option where I don't have to worry about, seeing to drive or driving safely or whatever, and that's all handled for me, you better believe I will take that option. You better believe I will take it. So, let's see. Judy says, Charlotte, we were afraid she was going to drive and either get lost or hit someone. Yeah. That's what we're worried about with my grandmother, is her hitting someone. My brother-in-law, it was both because he couldn't afford to pay for it. That was the way that we managed to get his away from him. He did still owe money on his vehicle. And moving him into assisted living, he was not going to have enough money left over to have both a cell phone and a vehicle, and the man did not live without a cell phone. Guys, the jokes still come in. They still come in from all across our family, all across my husband's family, about, he's at the pearly gates, waiting for his cell phone before he goes back in. Like, he stepped out of the pearly gates to wait for the cell phone. Or, he's looking for service. He's walking around looking for service. Because, guys, that was my brother-in-law. He was always on that phone. He loved having a cell phone. Charlotte says, I know what you mean, Judy. Katie says it was hard for my mom when we had to take the keys from her. She was such an independent woman. Yes, right? Glenda says, do not think about her killing herself or someone else to keep letting her drive. I know. I don't have a say in anything that happens with my grandmother. If I did, she would not have her keys or a car. But I do not have a say. One of the other granddaughters that is living close by is her power of attorney, and she is the one who is ultimately making that choice, even though she's been told by the rest of the family not to let her have the keys and not to let her have the car. So, I mean, we can talk till we're blue in the face. We'd have to apply to all these different places to get, intervention happen from the state. And then once the intervention happens from the state, then everything is out of anybody's power. And although I vote for that as an option, other people who are living closer by do not. And I don't have a way to override that. So it is what it is. But my brother-in-law was very dangerous. He was very dangerous with the car. But, thankfully, me being the money person and the finance person, I was able to convince him that no, he couldn't afford a cell phone and a vehicle payment. So that worked in our advantage. So we were able to get it away from him that way. If we turn the car over to the bank, then you can keep your cell phone. If we don't turn the car over, you have to give up your cell phone because we don't have the money to pay for it. And that worked. It worked. And it was mostly true. Like, he really couldn't afford both payments easily. He could have afforded both payments if we cut off any extra spending, but that was not going to be something he was willing to do. And every family dynamic is different in that. I mean, I had a lot of control over what happened with the brother-in-law because he made me his power of attorney. But I have no control over my grandmother's situation. So it is what it is. Charlotte says my mom refuses to set up a power of attorney. Sadly, I'll come to town for filing conservatorship, and I dread that day. Don't dread it that much. Look at it as you are protecting her best interests and protecting what she would have wanted if she had been willing to make those choices earlier on. A lot of people don't want to plan for the inevitable, but there's no way to escape death and taxes. So it is what it is. People are going to try. People go to jail for trying to escape taxes all the time. But it's going to happen either way. It just is. Judy says my mom turned 88 when we took the car away. She turns 90 in October. In Illinois, she had to go every 2 years for the driving test. It would have only been a matter of time before she flunked the test. Yeah. I wish Alabama did the same thing. They supposedly, have a doctor's note saying she's not supposed to be driving. But do they ever take her license away? They haven't yet. You know, we've done what we can do to initiate that process, but, you know, until the state actually does their part, we're kind of stranded on that. Glenda says when they took my grandfather's keys, he had extra keys hidden and disappeared until someone called. Glenda, I want to go out like your grandfather. Oh gosh, that's funny. I'm sorry. I know that this is a tough topic, but that was funny. I want to be your grandfather. Charlotte says she doesn't want any of us to have conservatorship. That's why I dread it. Yeah. There's not going to be a good option. Now, my grandmother didn't want either of her daughters, so my mom or my aunt, to be power of attorney. However, if there was a neutral person, my gosh, she probably would choose it. So that might be an option, Charlotte, is if it's somebody neutral that does not have any kind of vested interest in the way that your mom would see it, they might be willing to step in to run your mother's finances or be your mother's power of attorney. That might be an option. And then there can always be a backup person. Because that would be, I'm not blood to my brother-in-law. I mean, I married into the family. I married the youngest brother. So when that came up, I got selected as power of attorney because I had no vested interest in any of the rest of in the family. There's not that person available. Yeah, I don't know if she would be willing to select a spouse or a grandchild that's old enough. That would be the next thing I would suggest, is just try it. Just suggest it if it hasn't already been suggested. If it has, at least we tried, right? At least we tried. Okay, so the funny I thought of earlier, you guys. If my husband passes away, you know what I'm going to be looking for? I'm going to be looking for the guy that's hanging, the guy at the nursing home that still has his driver's license and can drive at night. That's what I'm going to be looking for. We're going to look for the guy with the best eyesight, and we'll make him the popular, date night. He takes me out on Tuesday, takes somebody else out on Wednesday, takes somebody else out on Thursday. Maybe I get Friday again. Can you imagine? That would be so much fun. I'd make quilts for him. Judy says, before my dad passed away in 2013, he set the POA. My sister's POA of health and my brother's POA for financial. I'm the backup. That sounds like a plan. So I know I'm executor for my parents' estate. No, I do not know everything that is involved with being the executor for their estate, because there is a lot more to their estate than there ever was to my brother-in-law's. I already had access to everything for my brother-in-law before he passed away, but I do not have that for my parents. So I know if something happens to my parents, supposedly, here's the deal, is if one of them passes away and not the other, then, I'm not going to need to be POA for, one of the, I'm not going to have to be executor. Like, let's say my dad passes away before my mom. I won't have to be power of attorney, but you better believe it, I will probably have to be there to go handle everything that I can, because my mom will probably be in pieces, and vice versa. So if something happens to my mom, my dad will probably be in pieces and need me. And that's fine. I mean, they're the only, they've been married the entire time to each other. They've never divorced. I don't know if either of them had boyfriends or girlfriends before the other one. Like they met in high school, all of that. Yeah, it is what it is. Charlotte says, I love it. She says, Tammy, I'll share him with you. Glenda says, Tammy, sounds like a plan, right? Right. We just find the one guy that still has his eyesight and his driver's license. We'll give him oh my gosh, I'm stuttering, you guys. Oh, stuttering. I hate it. I've been stuttering off and on all day. And I know stuttering can be caused by anxiety and stress. And I do have a stuttering problem. You guys typically don't hear it. At least not very frequently. I think that's why I say as much as I do, because I am waiting for my brain to catch up so I can say the words I mean without having that kind of stutter going. But I'm definitely stuttering today. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know. I'm not anxious that I think of. Maybe I'm anxious about having to fight over what day I get with our friendly neighborhood driver that gets dates every night of the week. We'll give him an eye test every Saturday. You know, that'll be our Saturday morning activity, is giving Joe no. Let's choose another name. Let's give Josh an eye exam every Saturday morning to make sure he's good for the rest of the week. We'll have a weekly optometrist come visit. Donate time. Give all the guys eye exams every Saturday so Josh doesn't feel left out as to why he's the only one getting eye exams. Oh. I am going to be one of those hard people in the assisted living facility, guys. I'm going to treat it like it's a constant quilting retreat. Charlotte says, sounds like we need to change the topic to the driving old guy. Right? Has to be able to carry 20 pounds at a time. That way he can unload the trunk with all of our groceries and our shopping. Oh. We need to put out an ad. Make sure he provides doorside service. He needs to provide his own wagon to carry all of our shopping to our door for us. Oh, and we can find the other guy that needs to actually go somewhere. And he can be, we can do double dates. 2 women and 2 guys in the car. Oh, I am going to be the bane of the existence of any nurse in the assisted living or nursing home that I end up in. Oh, I'm going to keep it lively and entertaining. Plus, there's going to be plenty of warm quilts, right? That's going to be the other thing. He's going to know where every fabric store is. Within 50 miles of the facility. Oh, we should. Judy says all you find me just mows the grass and weeds. Oh, we pay a company for that one, Judy. Chloe says, oh my goodness, so silly, right? Charlotte says has to carry 5 bolts of fabric safely. He can fall, but don't drop the fabric. Oh my gosh. Yes, you cannot drop the fabric. That is fabric abuse. We've heard of alcohol abuse, like spilling the extra alcohol, but that's fabric abuse if you drop the fabric. Oh. My local quilt shop is going to have to install a bench out in front of the shop, or right inside the shop, so he can stay in the air conditioning or the heat, depending on the weather. So he can just sit and hang out until I come ask him his opinion. Because I'm going to ask his opinion. Because we always ask their opinions so that we can go with the opposite of what they choose. You know that, right? I'm sorry for any guys that are in the chat. We always choose the opposite of what you choose. Just accept it. Oh. Mine too. Oh. Oh my gosh, you guys. You know what would make a fantastic idea for an assisted living facility? They need to do like a permanent quilt retreat facility that is assisted living. So they come help put new needles in the machines. They thread them for us if we can't thread it. They always, check the thread at the end of the day to make sure we have enough thread before the next day. 24-hour access to the quilting studio. Oh my gosh, guys. I've come up with the best business plan ever. And no, I do not have the initiative to actually put it into place. But could you imagine? That's where we need to go. We need to go find the Quilting Retreat Retirement Center. And it needs to be where we can see all 4 seasons, like, here in Casper. So we get the fallen leaves, we get the summer, we get the winter, we get the spring, we get all of it. So, Charlotte says, perfect, that's a business plan, right? Right? I have looked, and there is some kind of retreat center here in Casper. I don't know all the details, so I'm going to have to look at it. Oh my gosh, Judy, you are the lifesaver. She says I have the long arm. We would have that covered. Yes, we do. We would have that covered. That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And we need to have like a giant fireplace so we can cuddle up and watch, TV or something when we're, too worn out from quilting. And we need to have, those giant TVs and oh my gosh, all the things, guys. That's totally what we need to do. I know that I would probably be their first resident. I'm ready. Are we all moving to Quilt Town, Missouri? No, I'm not moving to Missouri. You cannot get me to move to Missouri. Doesn't matter. Not happening. It will have to be somewhere other than Missouri, preferably without humidity. Oh. You guys. I'm just laughing because that is such an amazing idea. So, all right. All the things definitely, says Chloe. Judy says, Charlotte, that sounds like a great plan. Oh, it'd be even better. Because you know how quilting can get a little old when you're quilting with the same people all the time? Our assisted living facility could also host quilt retreats for quilters to come in from out of town and come stay at our facility, and that would help keep our costs down for ourselves, for our monthly rent and everything else, because these out of town quilters would pay for that. They would absolutely pay the extra for the housing and all of that, and they would lower our costs. So that would be a fantastic way to do it. Sounds like a winner, says Glenda. Charlotte says all we need is a local bus to get there. Oh yeah, there's a local bus. There is a local bus. And I bet you, because our city, for all of the good things that our city is, one of the things our city also is very focused on how to earn the next dollar. So if we can put money in the city's pockets, the city will be ecstatic and they will support us and put their backing behind us. Absolutely all the things. So much that could go into this. My husband's going to come home and look at me and go, what have you been planning? Oh, it's going to be so exciting. So exciting. So exciting. All right. So, with that being said, all right. So, Casper is kind of out of the way, and it would have to be during the summer. If I was able to get a quilt retreat going here in Casper, how many of you think it would be something that you could attend in person? Do you think you could attend a quilt retreat here in Casper in person during summer? It would have to be summer because we're not going to put you guys on the roads or in the airplanes in the middle of a blizzard. It's not happening. Not gonna do it. If there's a retreat here during the winter, it has to be for the locals that can drive in all this stuff. Tell him we're taking over the world to Charlotte. He will believe it. That's the problem. He will definitely believe that we are taking over the world. Guys, I'm so excited. That's such a fun idea. Such a fun idea. And it's not going to go away. Like, that's going to stick in my head. And I've got friends who absolutely will be joining that. Joy said that she could. Yes. Yay. Woohoo. I am looking at hotels. The hotels that I'm looking at right now, I'm not sure if they would work because they don't offer food, and I'd hate to do catering because that will cost money. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it way too far away. I understand that. Joy says within my budget. Yeah, absolutely. It has to be within everybody's budget. I do not want anybody trying to come to a retreat if it is not in your budget to come. And I think, honestly, at this rate, it may be next year before I could even, or maybe 2026 before I could even host a retreat here. Just because I don't know that I can handle all of the planning with it. Joy says that she could stay with her daughter. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so here's another thought. And this is for everybody, even if you can't come to, like, Wyoming. If you were going to a retreat and there was a host family willing to host you, would you be more likely to stay at it if it saves you money versus staying in a hotel room? Or would you be a strictly hotel room type of person, type of traveler? Which would you go for? Would you, if you only have the two options, you stay with a host family or you stay at a hotel, which would be your option? Which would you go for? Because I really had not thought about doing host families, but the local baseball team does host families. So I know these are college kids, but the host families have to provide a private room, and the bathroom can be shared with another member of the family. So the bathroom may be a shared bathroom, but they do have to provide a private room with a bed, and all the standard stuff in a typical bedroom. Like, it doesn't have to be fancy. So Charlotte says that she's a hotel traveler. Joyce says that she's not sure. See, I'm not sure. I think for a quilt retreat, if it's another quilter, maybe. Of course, I travel with my dog, so therefore I have to factor in the dog. So I'm not sure if I could do the host family, unless the host family is okay with the dog being added to the household for the length of time that I'm there. But it would allow people to fly in, and their host family would be the ones responsible for providing transportation. Chloe says, interesting. Host family concept like a B&B. Yes, right. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Because I'm sure that people who like quilting, even remotely, and are, that, or they're entered in raffles and, offered the option to do, XYZ. Charlotte says, brilliant, Chloe. Yeah, like a B&B. Not sure if I'd like that. Probably a hotel. Susie says, in Casper, I would stay with my daughter or a motel. Not comfortable with host family. That makes sense. If you've got family here, that makes it a lot easier. But if you don't have family, especially if you get to, meet them over a video chat or something like that beforehand, I'm wondering if that would help. Because I know, missionaries from churches in my dealings in the past, so, this is pre-COVID, missionary families, or missionaries would stay with host families when they go to a new city to, set up a new church or, do church plants or, things like that. They would stay with a host family. So I've never done that kind of thing before. So I just didn't know whether or not anybody would be game for it. I guess if I offered both options, so you could, here's the hotel we have a discounted rate at. You have to book by a certain time. Otherwise, we'll match you with an available host family. And again, the host families have to provide a bed. They have to provide, clean linens, all of that. So you don't have to provide your own linens. You could if you wanted to, depending on the host family. But it's kind of like doing an Airbnb kind of thing. It's just you have a family that's there. Laura has joined the chat. Welcome in, Laura. She says hi, teaming everyone. Glenda says can't travel that far no more. I don't blame you. I understand. Traveling this far is a big challenge. I have actually looked at quilt retreats that are, quote, close to here. Guys, I am finding stuff that is like 10 and 12 hours away easily. Like there's very few that are close enough by that would be a small trip for me. So when I'm looking at quilt retreats for myself to go to, everything I'm finding is just insanely long distances. And I'm having to just turn down the looking at it. Good question, Chloe. She's asking, Laura, how are you feeling? That is the $10 million question today. We are all wondering. We are glad you're here with us, but we want you to take it easy. Guys, I may actually be done with this path of these here in just a little bit. So what will happen is I will flip and start sewing the 4 patches together. I'm not going to worry about pressing them until after the 4 patches are sewn together, because I will press them and spin those seams. And that's going to take a while. Spinning those seams will take a little bit. We have gone a whole gamut of conversations. Okay, here's another one. So the local colleges across the state, the community colleges and such, have offered, they partner with the State Quilt Guild here in Wyoming to offer what is called Quilt Wyoming, and it is a rotating basis. So last year was in Cheyenne, next year is in Rock Springs. Deb is here, welcome in. Laura says that she slept most of the day and rest is helping. Hubby is taking good care of me. That's good news. That's very good news. So the colleges do host Quilt Wyoming, and so you stay in the dorm rooms. So how many of you guys would be comfortable staying in a dorm room? Would that be better than staying in a hotel room because the cost would be lower? Or would you still prefer all the amenities of the hotel room over saving money on a dorm room? That's a good thing. I agreed, Chloe. She says, glad to hear you are getting your rest. Yes, you definitely, if you need to nap all day, you nap all day. We will not be upset. We want you to heal and feel much better soon. All right. We have been talking, gosh, what was our topic earlier? The guy that is going to drive us around. Chloe says that she is comfortable staying in a dorm room. And Susie would stay in a dorm room. Okay, that works. We're up to 23, you guys. We got 23 viewers tuning in. That is not too bad. Judy says I would do something like that as long as there are others with me. Yes. There would definitely be others with you. I would not be putting anybody in a dorm room by themselves. Joy says that she would stay in a dorm room. Perfect. And one thing that we did at Quilt Wyoming is you can room with someone and you pay like $10 less a night, or you can room by yourself and pay $10 more per night. And I roomed by myself mainly because I have the dog, and if somebody gets up in the middle of the night, it's really distracting to him. Pete Pablo, I think it's the first time I've seen you in my chat. Welcome in, Pete. Glad you made it. He says, I can sleep in a tent in the backyard. Well, we would allow that, except I really don't have a backyard. I have a community yard, thanks to an apartment complex, so I wouldn't really be able to offer you a backyard to stay in. So where do you hail from, Pete? We would like to get to know every new subscriber that comes to hang out with us. Lisa's Quilting Corner is doing the chat. Welcome in, Lisa. She says hi all and gives a wave. Glenda says I'm jealous, would miss all the fun, but happy for everyone that could make it. Absolutely. And that's why I want to do the Zoom retreat, the virtual retreat this month. And I will, like I said before, I'm going to make it offline. So, not everybody's going to be able to see everything, but you can join with just audio if you would like to still join that. That way you can still, kind of come see what everybody's doing. You can ask questions, hang out for as long as you want, leave, come back, all of that kind of thing. So that's what we're planning to do. Everybody's saying hello to Lisa and Pete, and Deb saying hi to Charlotte. You guys are so awesome. Thank you. I can't get in the chat to go say hi, so thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Guys, we are getting through this stack. Can you believe that this is the last of them? Aside from like the 10 that I've got to fix. I've got actually, so 8 squares times 2 is 16. I'll have 18 total to fix. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. For having this many to do, I think I have 200 and something blocks total. Or 157 blocks total, something like that. So quite a few. I will be 5 blocks short. So whatever I've got here, I am 5 blocks short, I think, is what my total number is. Because I do have 2 pieces, but I'm not going to put them together. I didn't trim them because I need the matching pairs to go with them, because I did these in sets of 4. Everybody's saying hi to everybody. And Pete, if you don't want to answer where you're hailing from, that is perfectly fine. I don't mean to put you on the spot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not a put people on the spot kind of person usually. Yeah, I'm not normally. Is that all? Yeah, right? Just 5? Just 5 short. Oh, the 100 and something? Yeah, that's all. That's all of them. I can get you an exact number here in a minute. Give me a second. I'll actually grab my papers here in a second. Let me go grab my papers. They're right behind me. Let's see. Oh, I slid. Nope, they're not right behind me. I do see them. Hang on. Let's see. Alright. And I apologize if my shorts are too short for you guys. They are shorts, I promise. I did not come here pantsless today. They're just short shorts. Let's see. I know I wrote down the number of blocks. I know I did. I gotta figure out the sashing before I can cut anything. And of course I didn't write it down there. I know where it's at. Hang on. It's in this notebook. Lisa is in Georgia. Awesome. Georgia just played football too, I think. Don't quote me on that. 84 plus 48. 84 whole blocks plus 48 half blocks total. So I'm doing however many of these I got to do to make the 48 total. Something like that. And so Charlotte says you don't have to. I can only count to 20 if I can take my shoes off. Oh, you're good. All right, so this is the block that is going into the quilt. And I've written my numbers and such on it. Okay, so what's going to end up happening once I get these done is the half blocks are going to look like this. So that's the full block, and that is the half block. So what's going to end up happening is once these pinwheel units are assembled, I'm going to have to come in and for these 48 half block, I'm going to have to take them apart. But I'm going to go ahead and assemble them as full blocks, and then I will go back and take them apart later. So they're going together as normal. Laura says, that's funny, Charlotte, right? She's a barrel of laughs. Oh, you missed our conversation. Okay. So what we were talking about earlier, we've talked about if quilting was a college course, like you could get a bachelor's in it, you know, what all courses would you take, all of that. Charlotte says that'll be beautiful. Yes, it will be. I'm looking forward to seeing how this comes out. So all of the fabrics in here are batiks. The printout is kind of close to the actual colors. It's not exact. So, you know, you can recognize the light and dark greens here. So the light green you see is going to be the cornerstones as well. There's a blue fabric that's going to go in here that's going to go on the outside edges of the pinwheels. And then there is it's a pale pink on this printout, but it is actually a gray that is going to go in that sashing section. So that's going to be so stunning once you guys see how that comes out, because the colors are really going to pop against each other. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this come together. And if I had not put myself on such a tight timeline, this would be even so much better. But I'm good at it. Joyce says, have to go. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for hanging out, Joyce. You have a good evening. Thank you for being here. So yeah, we talked about college courses, and then we talked about how awesome it would be if we had like an assisted living quilting retreat, like turn an assisted living facility into a permanent quilting retreat, so we never have to leave. And then we talked about that we would have to find the one guy there that still has good enough eyesight and can drive at night and still has keys, because then he's going to be our personal chauffeur and we'll trade out going on dates with him. Laura says, I'd take every course I could. I think it's nice to see how everyone approaches quilting. I always seem to learn something new. Yes, right? There is always something different to learn, and there's always a new technique to pick up. I am going to have to, I think my fan is still going. Yeah, my fan is still going. Let me turn it off. I'm starting to get cold. My air conditioning kicks on, and every time it kicks on, my air conditioning vent, you guys see this TV right here? The air conditioning vent is just a little off camera and up on the ceiling. And no matter what I've done to make adjustments, it blows directly on me no matter where I sit. So if my chair is further back towards this shelf behind me, it blows on me directly there. If I sit, forward like I am, it blows on me directly here. I cannot win no matter what I try. So every time the air conditioning kicks on, it is cold enough, it blows out cold enough that it freezes me. So I have to make that adjustment. It's either that or I pull out the sweatshirt. And I've done that already once today. So I'm trying not to pull out the sweatshirt too many times. I will, but I just try not to. All right, Deb, thank you for being here. She says, gotta run. See you all later. Absolutely. Now my fan's off and the air conditioning is turned off. So now it's super quiet. And so now I feel like I'm hearing myself talk. Oh well, it's all right. The feeling will pass. All right, Laura says, I follow a lot of amazing creators and usually learn something new from each of their videos. See, that's why you come here. You come here to learn something, and then you go to everyone else that I follow to learn something else, and you learn the right way to do it. See, you come to watch me to learn the quick and dirty way to do something, and then you go to somebody else to learn the correct way to do it. That's what it is. That's what we're doing here. Oh gosh. And we talked about Christmas presents too. Our Christmas present conversation. So my husband and I, he likes to spend for Christmas. Like really likes to spend. And I'm trying to find a way to keep us on budget. And so everything I've tried in the past hasn't worked. And we're trying to be approved to buy a house starting in January. Like there's an approval process. There's a special program that we're going to try to go through, all of that kind of stuff. And so we are, trying to clear things out to be able to do it. And in order to do that, I need him to not spend a lot of money. And somebody had suggested that they were going to ask their husband to do a fat quarter advent calendar for them for Christmas. And I love that idea. Laura says, I also enjoy the awesome community you're creating, Tammy. Thank you. Thank you. Now, if you save the last weekend of September, we are going to have a Zoom quilting retreat. It is not going to be live. It's not going to be broadcast. I do have more details. You guys will get those on Tuesday. Let me turn this light on so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. So, try not to blind you guys, but I need to see what I'm doing. It's getting dark over here. There we go. I think that'll work. If that's blinding you guys, let me know. So, I want him to do a fat quarter advent calendar for me, and that will keep his spending to a minimum. And he gets to choose whatever fat quarter each day for me to open. Well, I can't do the same for him, and finding inexpensive items to do his is going to be tough. So he likes salt and pepper shakers, so he may get salt one day and pepper the other. So I may do his calendar that way, and do other things for, other kitschy things that I think he would like as his, daily gift. So we're going to do 25 days of gifts. So neither of us feel like we're missing out on our traditional Christmas, because let's face it, he puts a lot of things under the tree for me every year, and there's no way I could keep up with him. Like, he outdoes me every year. But I will say he is still using a Christmas present I gave him last year. I gave him an Alabama Crimson Tide blanket, and he was even using it earlier today. Chloe says, I love the fat quarter advent idea. I do too, and it's super easy. So when I was married to my ex, one of my exes, the one that had kids already, the kids never could figure out what to get me for Christmas. Like, it was pulling teeth. Like, they would, ask me for what I needed, and I didn't need anything. Chloe says that she's bought the one from Cotton Cuts before. Now, I haven't bought any of the official ones. I think I'm just going to have him go to the store and go pick stuff out. I'm going to tell him what to look for and go pick it out from there. And I think I'll let him get half-yard cuts at maybe the quilt shop if they're under a certain price. Like, I'll send him to the clearance section at the local quilt shop and go buy in this section. Laura says, I totally understand, Tammy. My husband spoils me all the time. Yeah. I mean, I have scissors, miniature little, snips that he ordered in a custom wooden case that's hand engraved. He ordered it from Ireland last year. And that was not the big present. That was one of the many things he got me. And I love him to death. I really do. And I love that he likes to spoil me. But we do need to stick to a budget this year. And it is incredibly hard for him. So this way, it'll give him the sense of he's gifting me all these different things. And I'm just going to make it that he has to figure out a different way to wrap each one. That's going to be the thing. Is he's going to have to be creative with how he wraps each one. And I can't open them all at one time. So he's going to have to, actually wrap things and to keep it interesting for himself. So that's what we're going to go with. I've got fuzz or something in my nose. Sorry. So my nose is itching. I'm sorry, guys. I promise I'm not picking my nose. It is just my nose itching. The scissors are beautiful, aren't they? They are gorgeous. They are absolutely gorgeous. But impractical for staying on a budget. I can't stay on a budget if he's buying that kind of stuff. Now, I will say this. He did get my wedding set for a Christmas present because I lost my engagement ring and wedding ring on a trip last summer. And I was devastated about it because we'd picked everything out together. And he and my mom got together and he picked out the wedding engagement ring set that I have. And it's actually at the jeweler's right now getting fixed because apparently I've had problems with it since I got it, that it hangs on things. And we took it to the jeweler because there isn't a K Jewelers here in town. So when we were in Cheyenne, we took it to K, and they're gonna have to send it off because the prongs are actually too tall. So they gotta fix it. Judy is headed off to bed. She says good night all. Good night, Judy. Thank you for hanging out. Let's see. Laura says the fat quarter idea sounds like fun, right? Right. So what my ex-husband did is I told him, take the kids to Joann Fabrics, because we had one in town. I was like, take the kids to Joann Fabrics and let them pick out a couple of fat quarters for me. Like 4 fat quarters is a yard of fabric. So, have them each pick out the equivalent of a yard or 2 of fabric and wrap that up. And that is my present from the kids. It's perfectly fine with me. I like the idea. And, you can't beat that kind of idea, right? And so that's what I got from the kids, and I absolutely loved it because every time I looked at those particular fat quarters, because the kids all picked something different. There were 3 kids to pick, and they all picked stuff differently. Like one picked very thoughtfully, the others picked things that were kind of in their kind of color wheel, like their kind of, preferred colors and such, which is okay. I fully expected that. But each kid who picked out fat quarters for me, picked out something different. And so when the suggestion came up about doing an advent calendar for fat quarters, I thought, well, that's a great idea for the whole Christmas. Like, he doesn't need to pick out like 15 presents to go underneath the tree. Because, he is that kind of shopper. He likes to buy quantity and quality at the same time. But I don't need 15 different presents under the tree. I just need, just give me some fabric. That's going to mean something to me. I'm going to remember it. So, yeah, it's that kind of thing. All right, so I did say I'm not going to press these before I sew them together. So here's what I'm going to do. I do know I want to rotate these seams once they are sewn together. So I am just going to finger press them towards the dark triangle. And so when I sew this seam and I go to press again, it's going to press towards the dark. So all of these seams, all of these joining seams are going to be pressed towards the dark, pressed towards the darker fabric. And the seams that I've already done before, when I did the half square triangle units, I did press those towards the dark as well. So yeah, we are going to finger press these. I am leaving the center stitch in place, so all of these will be joined sets. But we will have completed 4 patches into pinwheels with any of these that I get done tonight. So we have made fast progress of this. It's really slow cutting, but it's very fast when it comes to sewing. So I just take a little bit of extra time when I get to that center, and I go ahead and slow down just a hair. Charlotte says, Tammy, don't be surprised if you get a fat quarter bundle every day. I am going to tell him, no, I'm getting 1 fat quarter. You're not buying a whole bundle, because he actually did ask me, because when I suggested the idea, he's like, oh, one of those bundle things. I was like, no, don't you dare buy the bundles. I was like, I do not want a whole bundle every day. That is a lot of fabric, and that gets expensive really fast. So unless you find like a killer deal, I do not want a fat quarter bundle every day. I just want a single fat quarter. Just the single folded quarter yard of fabric. And that's what I want, for my advent calendar. So I'm on the hunt now for salt and pepper shakers, guys. Things that he will not already have that I can add to the collection. So that is my goal now, because I'm probably going to have to order everything for him. So I will need it to ship and be here by November so I can wrap it. Charlotte says, good luck with that, right? I'm going to I will tell him a budget, because he hasn't started buying as far as I'm aware. Thankfully, that much I do know. I don't think he has started buying. So we're going to sit down with a budget, and I will give him, this is the card that you use for all of my Christmas, and I need to pay it off in December, so you are only allowed to spend this amount on this card. And it will be a card with that much allowed on it. It's not going to have a whole lot on it. I think these batiks put up a lot of fuzz, or my thread is putting up a lot of fuzz. I cannot get my nose to stop itching, guys. It is itching like crazy. And I do not know why. I don't see anything in the camera that shows why my nose is itching. Oh. I hope I'm not going to step on camera to figure out what's wrong with my nose. But it's definitely itching. I do have little threadies all over my shirt, so that could be part of it. I'm picking up threadies. Little thread pieces. And I am wearing green, so the darker green doesn't show up that much on my shirt. The lighter green definitely does. So any of the thread pieces from the dark green is not going to show up very much on my shirt. But from the light green, it will. It will. I half expect that I am going to end up with either some really gorgeous fabrics, or I'm going to end up, blow your nose quick, like, yeah. It's like, it's not even in my nose. It's like the tip edge of my nose. It's like outside of my nose. Like I've got a hair or something just hanging out. Lisa says, I actually found a small fat quarter bundle at Dollar Tree. 4 fat quarters for $1.25, and they were really pretty. Okay, I can tell him about that one. I will tell him about that one that Dollar Tree has, because they do have fat quarters here at one of them, I think. They may not have them at both Dollar Trees here, but I think they have them at least at one of them. It's the one on the other side of town. And so I could send him there for fat quarters too. But yeah, I will have to set a daily budget of how much he can spend. Now, if he can buy a fat quarter bundle and divide it up among all the different days, and that gets his 25 in, then that's fine with me. I just need him to stick within a budget. Because sticking within a budget is like his hardest thing. What I will probably end up with is his favorite color is like a dark blue, like a, not really a navy, but kind of in that kind of frame, like midnight blue kind of color. I half expect that that's the majority of the fabrics I'm going to get are going to be in the midnight blue, or they're going to be red and white and blue, so I can make more quilts of valor. Which one? I bet that's what he gets me. Laura says, Lisa, I found some cute fabric at Dollar Tree and used it for a table runner and placemats. Perfect. I am not ashamed of getting Dollar Tree fabric, so that is fine with me. It is absolutely fine. I'm going to show you guys this next one. Once I get this next one pulled up in my lap, I'm going to show you guys, because I just peeked at this. I love it. I love it. I'm loving these pinwheels. They are fantabulous. We are down to 13 viewers, guys. We got 13 hanging out with us now. I am not disappointed. This is a long live, too, so we've been going for a little bit now. All right, I'm going to pull this first one up. You ready? You ready for the peek? Isn't it pretty? Isn't it so pretty? These greens are turning out so gorgeous. And these center seams are all coming out exactly where they need to be, because everything was trimmed at the right size. So I will have room to trim these down, because these are going to be bigger than the size I need them to be, which is 4.5 inches. So they'll finish at 4. So I will have some room to trim them down, but as long as that center seam is lining up exactly where I need it to be, I'm good. Laura says that her husband doesn't understand a budget. If he likes it, he buys it. But I have to say he's very responsible with money overall. I would have to drop that last that last statement. They're responsible with money. No. We do not have that option. I mean, like if I give him cash, he's fine handling the cash. As long as he doesn't lose it. And, you know, the problem comes when he runs out and then he forgets that there's none left. Like, you know, none left for anything else that he needs. That's where I struggle with him. Part of that was he was not raised around any kind of money management. And he's never had that kind of, you know, that's never been top priority. So it's a struggle. I mean, not everybody was raised with, you know, any kind of financial skills. I wasn't either, but I put myself in the position where I had to learn it. He's never had to put himself in the position to learn it. So, you know, I don't fault him for it. It's just the way he is. I do like the fact that he wants to spend the money on me, but I have to remember that budget is still budget. I struggle with it myself, guys. Let's see. Charlotte says pretty, and Glenda says very pretty colors, right? My client chose well. They are stunning. And I get to work with more of this light green. There's blue and gray going in with this. And then the sashing, guys, when I get ready to start putting the sashing in, if you thought these were pretty, you will think that it is stunning once I start putting that sashing in. I have seen the sashing. There is a dark brown, a rich brown, and a deep blue, a jewel toned deep blue. They are going to be so stunning. So stunning. This is going to be eye-catching. I cannot wait to see it all come together. It's not often I get to work with fabrics that somebody else picks like this. So it's kind of exciting and terrifying all at the same time. Have you ever had a quilt that you are scared to work on because you are working on fabric you didn't buy? Or fabric that you didn't buy. Let's go with fabric that you didn't buy first. Fabric that the customer wants, or that the client wants, or that the family member wants, but you didn't buy it, so you have to work with it. Have you ever, like, put off working on a quilt like that because you're terrified of cutting into it? Charlotte says that she has to run. She's wilted. Good night, Tammy and everyone. Good night, Charlotte. Thank you for hanging out for so long. Appreciate it. We had fun. We had lots of fun. Yeah, I've got, let's see, we started at 5:30 and it is 7:45. According to this, I am at 2 hours and 15 minutes. Yeah, I can understand the wilting. Believe me, I can. A lot of our other chatters have gone silent. We got a few one-time chats and all of that. No worries, though. I knew this was going to be a long live tonight. Trying to get as much of this done as we can. And if I do get this done before 10, we will be off before then. But if it's, if I'm still running until 10 p.m. my time, I'm still running until 10 p.m. my time. So we're just hanging out, getting these pinwheels put together. So literally when I cut the units apart, I've got 2 half square triangle pair units like that. And so I am just flipping them. And I do pull them taut. I do pull them tight against each other. That way I can grab that center seam and press it flat. And that is leading to a lot of this lining up perfectly. I am also being very cautious about my 1/4 inch seam so that when I get to this center point, I am going over that center point at that 1/4 inch because I know I've got enough room for doing all of this. Chloe, she says, sorry, filling out school forms online. No worries. I remember those struggles. I remember being a mama with those struggles. I was the one constantly filling out those forms. I didn't wait until the day before, but that was because I had 3 kids to fill out for, even though only one was mine by birth. You know, I was filling out for my stepkids. And yeah, so no, I was filling out forms for weeks leading up to school. So yeah, and there was always something last minute that came up. So I'm not surprised, because you got your baby starting tomorrow. Oh, but at least you got the day off, right? You want to come get your bear, puppy? You can come get your bear. I heard him. He sniffed. He huffed a little bit. So I know he's awake. I don't know what he's doing, but I know he's awake. He's probably hanging out there so that, you know, he can try to convince me that it's time to get off the live. He was so mad at me last night, guys. I got out, and Chloe says that she's a procrastinator. I couldn't afford to be with 3 kids having to fill out school forms. I couldn't afford to procrastinate on that. Chloe says that her husband just reminded her about the school forms. Well, okay, and a little bit of mischievousness. If your husband's the one that reminded you, he can be the one to fill them out. Chloe says, yes, I do have the day off. Yes. Having the day off will help a lot. Oh. That would be my... I'm a bit sassy at times. So that would definitely be my sass. Is, you know, if they're his kids too, he can fill out the forms just like I can. Even if he has to sit there and ask me every stinking question, what's their pediatrician's name? Okay, let me tell you. I will spell it out for you even. You know, I will tell you the information that you need, but you're going to fill it out. Where's that doctor's office at? Google it. Google it, honey. Oh. Yeah, my husband now tries to remind me of things. And especially if it's something that he says he needs or wants or whatever. If it's something that he actually can take care of, you better believe that I am back-talking him for reminding me of something that he could do himself. And that's just me being a sass. You better believe that I do it. I got a pile down here. He will not fill them out. Oh, no. Well, your kids are still kind of little. Because your oldest is 12, right? Or coming up on 12? So, they're not at the age where they can fill them out themselves either. That's always the disappointing thing. You know, once the kids get old enough to fill out their forms themselves, I definitely had them helping me fill out forms. Especially if it's paper forms. I love the ones that were online. And, like, I could, like, have Google autofill things in for me. My kid is young. My child is still young enough that was the case. Google was a thing, and Google worked for me. I hated the days before Google came around, because I had to live near the phone book to go look things up, and you had to write things, everything else. Yeah, she's 11. Okay. Yeah, I was close. I was close. Oh, I bet she probably also thinks that she's already a teenager because she is past 10. I know the youngest we've got right now, the youngest that we've got is 14. And I will guarantee you, the moment she turned 11, She was in her teens. Chloe says, good plan. All electronic now. Yep. Yep. Google autofill works wonders when it fills in the correct information. I mean, you got to verify that, you know, Google's doing what it's supposed to do. But that saved me a lot of typing. Especially when you're doing it on a phone or an iPad or something. All right, Jess is here. She says, hello, Tammy. Just popping in. I'll rewatch you. Awesome. Thank you. And Pete is saying good night. Well, thank you for hanging out, Pete. Glad you let me know you were here. Thank you. You have a good evening, sir. I apologize if you do not go by sir. Have a good evening. I forgot that people are starting to ask for different things, so we will say good night to Pete. Susie says no online stuff with my kids until college. Oh, gosh. That, yeah. So, let's see. So, my son was born in 05 because he's 19 this year. And I think I had online stuff with him almost. I did have online stuff with him in daycare, but I think as soon as we started school, maybe first grade, by then everything was online. She definitely thinks she should be driving, says Chloe. Right? They all do at that age. And then wait until she gets to be driving age, and then she's going to be either the Fast and the Furious kind of person, or she's going to be the terrified of actually driving because, oh my gosh, somebody somewhere hit a stop sign and dented their car and it looks awful. So she's now terrified of driving. She's going to be one or the other. She's either going to be Fast and Furious or she's going to be the other direction. I was the one. The first time I got a speeding ticket, we did have cell phones when I was a teenager. Laura says, Susie, same here. My kids are adults now. Yep. Yeah, the ones that are adults, there's definitely no online stuff for. I mean, I think him being 19 now, I think that's about the right time when a lot of schools started putting some stuff online, not everywhere. I was in a tech heavy city. I was in Huntsville, Alabama. So I was very, very tech heavy area. So I was not surprised when they, started putting things online. But when I went to college, I had online aspects to every class I took. Pete says stay sober. Absolutely. That is the goal. That is why we are quilting. You don't operate a sewing machine with alcohol. I have seen some other content creators that do not obey that, and it is comical, but the seam ripper comes out far too much for my liking. Son is 39, daughter is 28, says Susie, and Laura says that her son is 32 and daughter is 29. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I won't tell you who could be my parents. Laura says, thank you, Laura, brainstorming my next series. I appreciate it. Awesome. Where did I miss? Where did I miss? I missed something. What? Okay, you gotta tell me what this next series is, Jess. Come on. You don't get to you don't get to be cryptic. I let everybody come in and I'll let you advertise. You can actually do exclamation selfie. I don't mind. But you gotta tell me what. You can't be cryptic. I need to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Laura says, Jess, you do an awesome job. I believe you do too. I haven't gotten to catch much yet. But from what I've seen, I like it so far. Oh, I've got too many series coming on, so I'm not stealing anybody's ideas. Just saying. Chloe, once she's done with her input, brainstorming, not 100% sure yet. Okay, that makes sense. If you need brainstorming help, you know where to come. Chloe can answer that I've got way too many projects to be taking on anything else right now. She was exhausted. I was going over all the projects that I had listed, and this was probably maybe a week or so ago. And she's going, your list is making me tired. I have a lot of projects going. Do I have any ideas? Yes, absolutely I do. Absolutely I do. You tell me kind of what you're thinking, and we go from there. Chloe says, yes, I am sure you'll come up with something fun. Absolutely. Are you looking for a specific quilt project? Are you looking for like a video series? Are you looking for, like what kind of holes are you looking to fill? Like what kind of quilts? Or is it a YouTube hole? Like you need a spot on YouTube to fill, or you need a quilt project to fill, space and time and whatever, or tutorials. You let me know what you need. If you do need, you can do exclamation email, and I'll drop my email in there. So if you don't want to put it in the chat, you are more than welcome to send me an email. I do not mind helping out all the other content creators, because we are a community here. And don't worry, I won't steal your ideas. I am starting Land That I Love. It is out of, let's see, so do I, but I keep adding. I'm able to finish some up. Yeah, right, Chloe? Me too. I need to finish a few. I'm starting Land That I Love. It is a sampler quilt that looks like a flag when it's assembled. And I am starting that in November. There you go. Yes, yes, yes. And I will check my emails after the live. If I don't send anything out tonight, I will send out in the morning, so that's fine. Or I will send out when I see it, so, one or the other. But Land That I Love is a sampler, and yay, she says she's a team player. I love that. What is the book? Let me grab it. Let's see. It is the Celebrate with Quilts book by Lisa Alexander and Susan Ake. And it is, let me scroll over to it. I just need to put paper in here and or post-it note and mark the page. The quilt is starts on page 120 in the book. It'll be tomorrow when I email. No worries, no worries. This is, as far as I can get it into the camera, that is the quilt that I am starting in November. I have a kit. Kathy over at My Hobby Home. She's based out of Louisiana. She is going to come sew along with me. So we're going to do it as a block of the month. Jess says that she has that book too. Awesome. Oh, okay. To Susan. You love Susan. Oh, Lisa and Sue. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Sorry. I'm a little scatterbrained. Let's see. Jacqueline says about driving. I don't drive, never liked driving, and don't have a license. My eyes aren't very good anyway, and I'm almost 72. No worries. As long as you are in an area where you have access to some sort of transportation to get everything taken care of that you need, whether that is by walking, bike, or somebody carrying you places, there is never a need to have a license if somebody else is willing to do it for you. That is something that I've always believed. If you are not cut out for driving, don't ever be upset that you're not cut out for it. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm a pre-cut junkie, says Laura, so I love any video that focuses on using 10-inch squares or jelly rolls. Oh, that's a good idea. Now, I did, if you did not see, Laura, the sped up video, the fall wall hanging jelly roll race, I started that on Tuesday the 27th and then finished it up in a video series or video that I did double time on. And I do issue a free project every other month. We are taking, after September, we are taking off until the new year because I need some time to catch up on things and not have to shift everything around all the time. So I am going to have to take off after September for the free projects until into 2025. But I do offer a free project, and this month will be jelly roll friendly. It's not actually, I'm not doing it with jelly rolls, but you can do it with jelly rolls, and I'll show you how to do that. Susie says, above my pay grades. Yeah, that's why we're doing it as a block of the month. I want to do it. What is the name of the book? I want to make a quilt of valor for my cousin who was injured in Afghanistan. It is Celebrate with Quilts. I don't think I've got it in Nightbot. Let me make sure if I do or not. I don't think I do. Let's see what my commands are right now. No, it's not that one. Who and what was I doing? I don't know. That was not it. Okay. Let's see. Sorry. I'm looking at my links because I didn't make it clear. Oh, I know what that one. Okay. It's not that one. All right. So I don't have it programmed into Nightbot yet. But I will end up putting it into Nightbot for the month of September and going forward because it will be a constant that we bring up probably every live is just, talking about that book. Yeah, Celebrate with Quilts is the book. Laura says, I did watch it and loved it. Awesome. Yay. Yay. Let's see. Glenda says, still here, but granddaughter is messaging me. We were trying to set up a time and a day for me to meet my grandson. That's exciting. Very exciting, Glenda. No worries. Would the flag quilt work for a quilt of valor? I believe so. Let me check the measurements. Let me grab the book again. Hang on a second. Let me get past this center seam. All right, let's grab it. All right, so for a quilt of valor, the standard size is 60 by 80. There isn't much transportation available here, says Jacqueline. I live in the country, but I do have a sister that takes me around and 2 sons who take me to doctor's appointments. See, that's what you need. You have people that can haul you, which is perfect. Because you don't necessarily have to have it. Let's see. That's finishing. Okay, it's 85 by 68. It is technically a little large. However, you could trim off some of that by trimming out the outside borders. Typically, they want 60 by 80, but you do have range to go up. So 85 by 68, but of course it's sideways. And it would still be okay for a quilt of valor. Let me grab my book real quick. Let's see. Because I have the official... Yes, I have an actual Quilt of Valor book that I printed everything out with. Let's see. That's all of that. Let me go over to the page that I probably need. Nope, that's not it. I need to put tabs in here so I can find stuff fast. But I just have not done that yet. Let's see. Okay, it's not that section. It's not the human resource section. Let's see. This is the... They don't want it any smaller than 60. Or actually 55, I think, is the smallest that it can be. Let's see. This should tell me. Okay, 60 by 80 is the official size. No smaller than 55 by 65 and no larger than 72 by 90. So yes, 100% you would actually be able to make it as it is, and it would be okay. Yes, so you can get away with that size. So if you do want to do the Celebration of Quilts book and use Land That I Love, yes, it is appropriate for a Quilt of Valor for sizing. So you were okay. Chloe says that's wonderful, Jacqueline. Yes, it is. And they're good sons, says Jacqueline. Perfect. Let's see. I'm going to make the God and Country quilt. I'm going to go to thrift stores and find army stuff for the crosses in the quilt. It's beautiful. Is it in this book? Is that the one that you're doing? Let me see. You guys have got me sidetracked. This is not fair. It's so easy to get me sidetracked, right? Let's see. No, I do not see it in here. Let's see, God and Country. No, I don't see it in here. Okay. There are a lot of sampler quilts in that. And I have not done, my husband saw that quilt hanging up and now she says it's not in the book. Let's see, Laura says, I've mostly been making quilts for the NICU where my daughter is a nurse. I really want to start making quilts of valor. Thanks for checking, Tammy. Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Now, even though you are not in Wyoming, if you do decide that you want to participate in donating to a specific Quilts of Valor group, I am running one. So if you do want to go through Working for Warriors, that is the Quilt of Valor group that I have recently started. There are currently 2 members, one here, obviously, me, and then one in Buffalo right now, Buffalo, Wyoming. So we are kind of across the state, and we will be doing, we've already got 2 veterans on our roster right now that we are producing for, and then we've got another good selection that's coming up soon as well. So we do have other veterans that will need quilts as well. Jess says that she will send me a link. Perfect. Yay. I will have to look at it and see if I want to do it as well. But I will tell you, I do already have quilts planned through July of next year. Ask me how crazy I am. I have got so Land That I Love is going to be finished by July next year. Chloe says it is a cool quilt, Jess. I will definitely have to look at it. But I've got a quilt planned for, the Land That I Love is going to be finished up in July next year. I have another quilt that will be finishing up also in July of next year, both for State Fair next year. Then I have I will be starting Fab Farm in January, and we are going to do that Block of the Month style as well. That is a wonderful cause, Laura. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Quilts for NICU. I had not even thought about doing quilts for NICU. I'm doing angel gowns already. So I've not done NICU stuff. At least not anything to go home with the parents. So hadn't thought about that one. But that is very cool too. That is very cool. If there were more people here willing to take over and help do a lot for the angel gown program, I would be able to have a little bit more free time to change what I want to help with. So yeah. Chloe says, I plan to sew Fab Farm next year. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, we are starting in January. I haven't picked which blocks that we're going to do, or which block we're going to do first. And whether you are making the small or the large, it won't matter because it just I am so sorry, you guys. I am stuttering bad tonight. It doesn't matter whether you are making it small or large. The small is 2 blocks per animal, and I think the large is 4 blocks per animal, something like that. So, it's just, how many blocks you want to complete throughout the course of the year. And I don't remember how I set it up. I don't remember if I set it up as a 10-month or if I set it up as a 12-month. But I will look into that. Angel Gown program sounds wonderful. It is, Laura. It is not the hardest thing about the Angel Gown program, and this is where a lot of people struggle and why they don't get into it. There's 2 big reasons that the Angel Gown program is so hard. One, a lot of people, as they sew or work on the angel gowns, they think about the infant and they get heartbroken, which it's understandable. It absolutely is. I don't think about the infant. I never do. I think about the parents and how this will comfort the parents. So that's how I get past that aspect of the angel gown program being hard to sew for. The other part of it is that you are sewing with satin, and flannel and lace and buttons and beads, and you're having to cut and sew, and it's a lot of non-traditional sewing. It's not, you are sewing clothes, but you're not sewing clothes that ever have to move once they're on the person. So you're not having to sew like a gathered cap sleeve or something like that. It's not that kind of sewing. It is clothing sewing, but it is not full clothing. So it is different. And a lot of people do struggle with, knowing what the gown is going to be used for. Laura says, I don't go through the Linus program. I donate directly to the unit where my daughter works. That's perfect. One of the problems that we have here in the state of Wyoming right now is that the maternity wards aren't reaching out when they run out of gowns. We are having to call and find out if they have any gowns left. And, when we ask them, please contact us when you start to run low, or if you need more gowns, or what kind of gowns you need, just please contact us and let us know. And they don't do that. It is kind of a closed loop system. So we are making the gowns, and then we may not know whether or not, every parent that needs one is receiving that comfort or not. We don't know. And the hospitals are not being helpful in letting us know. So we're trying a few different things to get past that barrier right now. But that is what we're struggling with right now. But we do have an active angel gown program here in the state of Wyoming. We've gotten some of the hospitals involved, but not all of them. But that communication aspect is definitely slowing us down. I do have quite a few gowns that I do need to sew, and that may be what I work on during the quilt retreat. So while you guys are working on quilting, I may be working on angel gowns on the Zoom, just so that I can get them done, because I have not put in it the time that I really need to on them lately, because I've had so much else going on my plate. So we will see what I'm doing by then. I don't have firm plans on that. So yeah, it's an option. It's an option. Part of the joy that I get in working on the angel gown program, and our program here in our state is called Wrapped in Love. So if you look just for angel gowns, you may not find the program, but it is Wrapped in Love is our local program. And what I enjoy most about working on it is, yes, it is different from quilt sewing. Yes, I'm getting done with a project a lot faster. So it doesn't take very long to sew a gown. When I go to sew a gown, we're talking 30 minutes. It really does not take very long at all to sew a gown. Once everything is cut, and, as long as everything is cut properly and all the decorations are done in advance, all of that, it does not take long at all to sew. It's challenging, but it's rewarding because you're finishing something, and you can finish a lot more of them. Laura says, my daughter is in the unit. Go to a person if a baby passes. Let's see. She creates shadow boxes with footprints and photos for the parents to take home. She's incredibly artistic and so caring, and she loves doing it. Yeah, right? It's amazing. And does her hospital also have angel gowns that are donated to their hospital? Our program here is for Wyoming, because there was nobody serving Wyoming with this program before it was started here. Ours is for Wyoming mothers. But that can also go to contribute to comforting a parent as well. Chloe says, not long at all. No, it doesn't take long. It really doesn't. And especially when you have, right now I've got over 40 that are sitting there. Glenda is saying good night, everyone. Good night, Glenda. Thank you for hanging out for as long as you did. We appreciate you. It was a great conversation. Thank you for being here. So if the gowns are cut out and, you know, layered and all of that together, like in a specific order, I mean, I can pick up and sew and get 4 or 5 gowns done in no time, and not having to go back and forth between cutting and sewing and all of that speeds it up considerably. The goal isn't necessarily to get, you guys live in Gilbert, Arizona. Yeah, that'd be a lot further for us to have to ship gowns to. But that would be something for the parents as well. So getting in with a local program that does angel gowns would be fantastic. I do actually have a gown in the closet right now that I need to cut into, but I need to get these other 40-something gowns out of the way. I need to get them sewn. They're already cut. I do have to cut some flannel for some of them, but once I cut that flannel, it won't take any time at all to get the rest of them. I will have to cut the ribbon for all of them. They all will need ribbon, but that won't take super long. Oh my goodness, guys. This is a major amount of progress. Like, there's still a lot more to sew than what I've got on the other side of the machine. But single-handedly getting this much done in the course of one sitting is not bad. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I do this. I'm sure the whir of the machine is therapeutic to some of you, as it is to me. Being able to touch and feel fabric and put it through the machine and all of this other stuff. I'm kind of proud. It's been so good. Yeah. So yeah, more pinwheels. more pinwheels. It's gonna be so therapeutic to cut the center stitches that are keeping these pairs together. It's gonna be therapeutic to cut them and flip, or cut them and twist. So tomorrow I'm probably gonna be spending a lot of time with the iron and the ironing board. Do I have a specific pattern for the gowns? I actually have, yeah, I do. Trying to think. I'm trying to think of where mine came from. My lead lady gave me the pattern. But as far as I know, it's a free pattern for making angel gowns. But what I have done, so there's four or five sizes that you can make. There's micro, there's preemie, there's newborn, there's one or two other sizes. So there's like 4 or 5 sizes on this one pattern. So what I did is I took and made a plastic template for each of my pattern sizes. So there's 2 pattern pieces per gown. There is a back piece that you cut 2 pieces of fabric and 2 pieces of flannel for. And then there's a front piece. You cut 1 piece of fabric and 1 piece of flannel. And the front piece is usually placed on a fold, unless you want to upsize your pattern, you know, go ahead and do the full outsize, whatever. The forms are done, says Chloe. Yay! Congratulations! Applause! Yay! Yay! I know that is a big relief, having those done. I mean, it's only, 10:30 at night, right? It's not 10:30 here, but it's 10:30 there. That's not too late. It's before midnight. It's before school. It's before the first day of school still. So yeah, I took acrylic template plastic, like what you would make, regular templates out of. Traced each of the different pattern sizes onto the template plastic and cut them out in the different sizes. And so what I do when I go to do it, Chloe says that's smart to make a plastic template, right? So what I do is I lay the plastic template on my fabric and put pattern weights down. Chloe says maybe a little sewing now, right? Just a little bit. So I lay the plastic templates down and then I trace around them onto the fabric. And I just make sure that when I cut the trace lines off. So like I don't end up with anything showing through. I trace in chalk pencil. Or chalk writer, drawer, whatever. And most of the time it doesn't show through. Don't use like the pink and the blue. Those are like really show through. But like the yellow doesn't show up that much. And there's a silver one that I really like. And it doesn't show up very much at all. So like once I've traced it out, if I accidentally leave some of it, it's not going to show through the fabric. The pink and the blue tend to show through the fabric. Satins more. And they tend to rub into the flannel too. Because you line it with flannel. So I actually have 2 big pieces of flannel in there right now. So I can cut out what I'm missing of the gowns that I've already got cut. And my local quilt group, one of my local quilt groups, their charity project this year, they agreed to cut gowns for the Angel Gown organization. So all I had to do was bring a whole bunch of gowns, bring the pattern pieces. Kathy is here. She says, hello, everyone. We were just talking about you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Jess was here. So blessed by Jess was here. And I don't know if she's still here or not. She probably already stopped back out. Oh, no, she's right there. She's right there. I was letting her know we are doing The Land That I Love starting in November. Laura says, I'm hoping I will feel well enough tomorrow to sit at my machine for a bit. I know it'll help my mental health. Yes, it will. And even if you don't feel like sitting at the machine, at least go where there is fabric and go pet it. Go pet the fabric. Pull a piece out, pet it, love it. Design what you want to think about it, like what you might want to do with it, and then you can put it back and you will have gotten you at least a little bit of therapy time in. That mental health therapy is going to work wonders. Helps you heal faster. Kathy says, yes, so excited about that. I am too. Laura was actually asking whether or not the pattern would work well for a Quilt of Valor. And I did go ahead and pull up the sizes for Quilts of Valor. So those who want to do the Land That I Love quilt as a Quilt of Valor, it does qualify. It does fall within the maximum size range of Quilt of Valor, what they will accept as a Quilt of Valor, unless you have a group that wants to accept something larger. But typically they have to be within a certain size, and Land That I Love is within that size. So it is a perfect size for a Quilt of Valor. It's a little on the large size, but that's okay. There's a lot of veterans that, when I've seen them gifted with a quilt, if we don't have a larger quilt and they are a taller veteran, it kind of makes the quilt look tiny compared to the veteran. So having a taller quilt or a larger quilt helps with some of the veterans who may or may not be well suited to a traditional 60 by 80 quilt. I know my dad probably would not be suited to a 60 by 80. He'd probably need something a little bit larger. And this is 65 by 83, something like that. Kathy says, I'm thinking of donating mine to 7 Days for the Troops. Oh, that'd be exciting. I do run a Quilt of Valor group here in Wyoming as well. So we will always accept quilt tops, fabric, and supplies, etc. For Quilt of Valor projects. My project that I am also starting next week, I've already pressed the fabric, but I will start cutting for next week, is a quilt pattern that I am testing. I'm pattern testing for Andrea, Mama J Enterprises. And we are going to do that in patriotic colors as well. So it will be available for a Quilt of Valor as well. Let's see, they will use it to auction off to raise funds. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. My husband would appreciate things like that. So that's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, anything that helps a veteran, I am all for. My husband having served 23 years in, and he's got a lot of the both mental and physical scars from having served. So it is nice when others are contributing to healing for him and other veterans. So any veterans organizations, absolutely. That's perfect. Very, very perfect. Very, very nice. I actually did not make my dad's Quilt of Valor. I was not proficient enough in quilting, did not know I could make my own Quilt of Valor. If I had known that, I would have. I did not know that until after we gave my dad his Quilt of Valor. So I've learned a lot that I really wish I had known when we were awarding him his Quilt of Valor. The local organization really didn't give me any kind of education as to what I needed to do for his award. So I feel like my dad did miss out on some of that. But I can't go back and change the past, and he does still have the quilt and absolutely loves it. So I'm not disappointed in that. They did a better job on his quilt than I probably would have done at the time. So, you know, I'm not disappointed. He got an official one. My grandfather got one that I gave him but never awarded to him. Can't award it posthumously, so it's not an option now. And then my brother got one also not officially awarded, but my brother doesn't talk to me, so I can't really award him a quilt now either. Let's see, 7 Days for the Troops was started by an elementary friend of mine that was injured in service. He is a double amputee. He is out of Tupelo, Mississippi. Oh, that's awesome. Laura says our family is very patriotic and we try to support several programs for veterans. Awesome. So Veterans Day is one of the days that I already know not to plan anything because it will be whatever my husband wants. Veterans Day is the day that I let him do whatever, plan whatever, be wherever, whatever he ends up needing for that day. That is always what we do for Veterans Day. He has a team that builds a tower for him to stay in for 7 days and raises funds to donate to other veterans organizations. Currently, they are building tiny homes for veterans. That's awesome. Yeah, we don't qualify for most of those tiny homes programs. We've looked into those. We do not have, we don't, every time we've looked into programs for veterans, we somehow fall outside of whatever we'd have to qualify for programs like that. So the program that we're hoping to get into in January is not specifically veterans. And when we told her, well, he's a veteran and no, he's not used to home loan, she was trying to sway us to go the traditional home buying route, but we still wouldn't qualify for what we would need. So yeah, we would not find the home that we needed at the budget we could afford it. So yeah, we would still end up short no matter what we did. So it is what it is. And that's what really kind of stinks sometimes is that, not every veteran qualifies for every program. But it is awesome that they are able to build the tiny homes for veterans. That definitely, if you can use the DD-214, that is tremendous help. Yeah, we've done that too. We've tried. There's the roadblock that we're running into now, looking at housing, is the majority of the housing that we could afford that would be within what we could qualify for a loan for is not accessible. So we would buy a home and then have to have all of these accessibility features added to the home or modified to the home in order for it to even be functional for what we would need. So qualifying for a home and, qualifying for a home that's accessible for us is the problem. That's the problem we keep running into, is the accessibility aspect. I have an electric wheelchair now, and even though there are people in electric wheelchairs or wheelchairs here in Wyoming, the majority of homes are not built for people with disabilities. So, we would have to probably have a house built, and that's what we're looking at, is a program that would build for us, that would meet our accessibility needs. That's been our struggle. I know all about accessibility. We had a rent home that we made accessible. Yeah. It's like here in the apartment complex, I haven't tried it, so don't quote me. I don't think that I could get the wheelchair out on the patio, and get it back in the apartment, because I think the ledge between our door for the patio and the outside is too steep. So I would have trouble getting the wheelchair to go over that. So my patio would be inaccessible to me. Not that I need that necessarily. We would have to take out shelving that we need in our bathroom for the bathroom to be accessible. And here's the other challenge. So if you know someone who's a veteran, here's one of the problems we ran into. If we had used, because we've thought about it in the past, if we had used my husband's benefits to make our home accessible in any of the rental homes we were in, the problem is when you leave a rental home, you have to leave behind the accessibility items. So, like if you have tub rails put in, if you have, if you have modifications made to a rental location, you are required to either make the home right before you leave. So we would have to have everything removed and everything restored to a pre-existing level. So if the handicap railing did any damage to the home, we would have to fix it at our own expense. And then the VA will pay for the accessibility features that my husband needs. However, they only pay for it once. So if we paid for it in one of our rental locations, then we would never be able to qualify for it again. Kathy says, yes, we did an all-out renovation, started with the ramp, no door jams, bathroom had a roll-in shower with a lift, all doorways were widened and toilets were wheelchair accessible as well. You see, that's, we don't need all of that, but definitely the no door jams. That's the big problem, is the no door jams. Even the front door here, it is sometimes a little bit of a hiccup trying to go over that door jam. And, the door doesn't necessarily close the way that it's supposed to for handicap accessibility. Because when you open it all the way, it sticks, like it stays where you put it, which is kind of nice when you're moving stuff in and out or coming in with the wheelchair. But if you're trying to leave and you need to close it behind you, there is no closing it behind you without actually reaching for it and pulling. And I have tried a lot of different things so far. I can get it, but when the weather turns colder, it is going to be more of a struggle because I'm going to be letting a lot of cold air in the apartment. Sir, you better stop. Yeah, did you hear that? What do I have? He is looking at me, guys. I have an empty Dr. Pepper bottle. And that is like his best friend ever. Because he gets to go throw that away in the recycling bin. And he gets a treat for doing it. So, besides going to get my medicine, going to take a Dr. Pepper bottle to recycling is his like next favorite thing. Kathy says that their house was across the road from a nursing home, and it was good for the renter if they had someone in the nursing home for them to come over and visit. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I have not yet managed to rent a fully accessible location anywhere. The only fully accessible locations here that I have found are income restricted, and we do not qualify for income restricted because on both of our disabilities we make too much. So we need accessibility, but we don't qualify because we have too much income. So it was, it's a catch-22. We make enough that we can supposedly afford this place, but it's most of our money. And then we don't make enough to afford an accessible house. Like, it's not, and this isn't really accessible. So, I mean, all of our doorways are wide enough. All of that is set up fine. Like, if we rearranged my studio, it would be accessible for the most part, but I would have to take out a lot of things. So I don't want to really do that. Oh, the pile is getting smaller, guys. I will be done before 10. There's no way, unless I get distracted again and have to go looking stuff up. No suggestions, you guys. No suggestions that I have to go look stuff up. Because you'll find something. Somebody will find something. Oh. So tomorrow night is Show and Tell. So 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So 8 p.m. Central, or 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time. We are going to have a lot of Show and Tell to go. The whole night may be Show and Tell. I don't know if you guys are paying attention in the Facebook group. There is a lot of Show and Tell going on. If you are not a member of the Facebook group, you can do !group in the chat, and you will get a link to the Facebook group, and I can go get you approved and put you into the Facebook group so you can see and contribute. We have 2 Show and Tells left. Yes, right, Chloe? She's like, already Show and Tell. Yes. Yes, tomorrow night, Show and Tell. You got to get them in before 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. Mountain Time. I need a little bit of time to process. I've got a lot to process, too. I'm fully expecting it's going to be a lot. Oh, Laura, you're fine. I'm just giving you a hard time. She says, sorry, I'll hold off on my questions for another time. No, you are not allowed to hold off on your questions. Ask them now. Because if you don't ask them now, even if I tell you have to wait, then I will be thinking about it later, and I will come up with something. Like, I will have answers for you by the next time I see you. And I will likely remember that I have that question to answer, even if it's a hold off and wait question. Jess says, can't wait to see. Absolutely. So, if you don't know, oh, Katie is still here. Get in at 3 p.m. If you are going to enter Show and Tell, you need to get it in by 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon Mountain Time. So it is currently 8:42 Mountain Time. So 3 p.m. tomorrow puts it 12. Oh, my math is fuzzy. 3. Let's go with 18 hours from now. So you have 18 hours approximately. Well, no, more like 17 hours. You've got about 17 hours to enter Show and Tell. At the end of Show and Tell next month, not tomorrow, so this is 1 month away, we will close the entries. So anything that you get in this month will count. Anything that you get in by 3 p.m. 6 p.m. Greenland time. Okay. Anything you get in before 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on our October Show and Tell goes into the drawing for the quilt giveaway. I will be drawing one lucky winner to win a completed lap quilt. So I will probably be showing that here in September. So you guys will have a preview of what you guys will be entering to win for October. And we will do the drawing on the second Tuesday of October. First Tuesday is going to be Show and Tell. And second Tuesday will be the giveaway. So we will do the giveaway 1 week away from then. So you have to get your entries in by 3 p.m. Mountain Time. I go live at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, so that gives me 3 hours. You can do one of two ways, Jess. You can either go ahead and email me. I did put the email in, or you got the email earlier. Or you can go over here and go join the Facebook group. And you can see all the entries that are already there and enter everything that you want to enter as well. The way Show and Tell entries are going to work. Let's say you enter one item and that is all you ever enter in the 6-month period for the giveaway. Let's say someone else entered 20 different times. Everybody gets 20 different entries. So whoever enters the most sets the bar for how many entries everyone gets. What I am looking at shipping prices for international in case someone international does win. If somebody international does win, I may have to substitute because of cost for something less expensive to ship. But then that does mean that quilt will stay and wait for a U.S. Giveaway. I did order the book just now. Yay! Yay! So we start that in November. So the Celebrate with Quilts book, we will start Land That I Love as a block of the month starting in November, and I am slating it to finish in July of 2025. So July of 2025, probably just in time for, well, it'll be during the month of July. I don't know that it will be in time for July 4th, but that is when I am slating to finish it. The plan right now is we are going to do, there are a lot of duplicated blocks. Pam is here. Welcome in, Pam. She says, hi, Tammy and all. Welcome, welcome. We have been hanging out for a bit. Let's say join the group. Just accept me when you have time. Absolutely. I have time right this second. I go ahead and keep my thing up so I can see. Let's see. Well, here we go. I see you now. Okay, hang on. I did have a question come up from someone. Let's see. All right. I apologize. Let me answer this question real quick. That way. All right, there we go. That is taken care of. All right, so yay. I'm sorry. I'm excited. But yeah, you can enter through sending me an email. Tell me a little bit about your entry into Show and Tell. And then when you post in the group, if you do not put the words Show and Tell, and if I don't ask, I apologize if I don't ask, but if you don't put Show and Tell in the comments or somewhere where I can find it, then I don't post it. There we go. I love it, Kathy. She says, go for it, Jess. I'm going to do an entry. Get me 30 entries. I know you have that many Show and Tells, right? Absolutely. I do not mind. There is one of my local ladies has submitted a lot. Like when you see her entries, you guys, you know she enters like a lot of pictures for each entry she puts in. She puts on a lot of quilts, and it's really exciting to see everything she comes up with. But there's local quilters, there's international quilters all entering in as well. But Show and Tell runs on a 6-month cycle. This is my first round to do the giveaway. And next round will go the same way. We will do 6 months of Show and Tell starting in November. And when we do the giveaway in 6 months from November, we will have another big giveaway item. It will be something big. It's something worthwhile. Now, Show and Tell items do not have to be finished projects. So if you were ever scared about entering a Show and Tell, please do not be scared about entering. You can enter quilt blocks. Like you finished a quilt block. Okay, that's awesome. You finished a quilt top. Fine. I love it. You finished a bag. You made a makeup bag. I know Chloe's put in a makeup bag in the past. You made a purse. You made a little, handbag, or you made a little freezer, a door pull thing, door pull cover. It doesn't matter. It does not necessarily have to be quilty. What I want with Show and Tell is I want it to inspire everyone. Let's see. Kathy says, I'm normally watching on my TV, but I can catch Tammy from my sewing room and get to comment. Yay! That's perfect. But yeah, so it does not have to be, your Show and Tell does not have to be a finished item. I do want to know why you're submitting it. So, if it's a quilt block, tell me what's important about that quilt block. Tell me what you would tell a complete stranger that you're wanting to celebrate with. Tell me what you want me to know about that. Because I want to know. I want to know what I can celebrate with you. So, it's not about, hey, I got this quilt block done today. I haven't sewn in 3 months. I finally got it back into my sewing room and got to sew today. That's fantastic. You haven't sewn in 3 months and you made a quilt block? Yay! That's awesome. That's super awesome. So I want to be able to celebrate any little bit that you do. Anything that you want to share, absolutely share. And then if you don't want it shared, just don't put Show and Tell on it and I won't share it. Everything else in the group stays private. So if you do not put Show and Tell on it, it does not get shared on YouTube. So it stays in that group, so only people that are in that group get to see it. And if you do need to post anonymously because there is someone other in the group that knows you or the gift is for, post anonymously. I do not mind. I do block spam, so, don't post links or whatever, but everything else I'm good. Let's see. Pam says, Kathy, I watch on my TV too, then chat on my phone. Perfect. That's how I do it too. Right now I've got my computer set up, but before I started, doing the computer setup where I can see it from my sewing machine and all of that, that's how I did it. Is I had, this TV back here, I don't turn it on unless I am at my quilter. I can see it from my quilter, because my quilter faces the door, which is near the TV. But, I don't, if I'm over there, if I'm watching it on the TV, then I can comment on my phone. That's how I do it. Jess says, I have some pictures to upload for Kathy. I need to get busy. Absolutely. That's hilarious. Yeah, you guys, definitely, submit as many items as you want. You guys are excited about these items. You guys are excited that you've done them. You guys are, itching to share them, itching to, celebrate your achievement. And I'm wanting to celebrate with you. And I will guarantee you on Show and Tell nights, those are the very hopping nights. People show up for Show and Tell because they want to see all the cool stuff. And if they don't show up live, they show up on replay. Replay is always a big thing for Show and Tell nights. People they come in for those replays for Show and Tell because they want to see everything everyone's done and get those celebration and get that good feeling and get that dopamine going from seeing all the cool stuff, because there's lots of cool stuff and it gives you ideas, which is what I want. Kathy says, Pam, I just finished recording and editing a video, so my phone is on charge and uploading. Yes, I am old school videoing. I have my videos set up, and I still haven't done my short that I was supposed to do. So it is what it is. I'll have to do it still. Um, Chloe says, "So and Tell is fun." Yes, it is. I love it. It's kind of like, okay, I'm gonna, I'm not really this old, but my school was outdated. So I remember the teacher rolling in the TV and the VCR on that cart. And of course, she'd have to roll it in and plug, she had to make sure she had 2 outlets open because she had to plug the TV and the VCR in separately. Sad thing is, I have a camera sitting right behind my tripod. You're funny, Kathy. So I remember when the teachers would roll those TVs into the classroom, because you knew that whatever we were about to watch was going to be far more interesting than hearing our teacher drone on for hours. It did not matter what was actually going to be on TV. It really didn't. Like, it could be, guys, I remember Shakespeare. The old 1940s, 50s, whatever, bad acting Shakespeare. Stage acting Shakespeare. Made for TV. I remember that being played in high school. But, oh my gosh, to have the TV rolled in, oh my goodness, so exciting. It didn't matter what it was, but it was always going to be exciting. And I kind of feel that way about Show and Tell. I feel like Show and Tell is the teacher rolling in the TV and the VCR, and it didn't matter what was going to come up. It was always going to be something better than the teacher. Kathy says, "Lol, I remember that too. I remember 8 tracks and 45s. I am not old enough for that one yet. Not old enough for that one." My husband says that, like, one of the cars that they bought when he was growing up did 8 tracks. I don't think it did 45s, but it did 8 tracks because he could tell you what songs were on one of the sides of the 8 tracks. Like, I don't know what 8 track it was, but like one of the cars that his mom or his stepdad bought came with like so many 8 track, things in it or something. Like, it came with a set of 8 tracks, and like that's where he learned some of these songs that he listened to growing up, because the car came with the 8 tracks. So instead of listening to the radio and hoping you got a radio station, you could listen to the 8 tracks and you just play them on repeat. So I don't remember he could tell me if I asked him, but he's old enough to remember 8 tracks. I am not. I'm 19 years younger than him, so I am not old enough for him. I did not grow up with 8 tracks. I grew up with cassette tapes, but not 8 tracks. My dad had a reel-to-reel. Didn't play with it very often. Didn't pull it out very often. But he, had 2 young kids, and, it took up a lot of room and all of that kind of stuff. So I don't know whatever happened to the reel-to-reel. I don't know if he still has it or not, but it is what it is. Pam says, "My first Show and Tell was my daughter's Sweet 16 quilt, 24 years late." I remember that. She said she watched the replay and it was, "Mom, that's cool. Your quilt made it to YouTube." Yes! I remember that because she commented on it. And she's like, "I'm the daughter." I was like, that's amazing. That was fantastic. I loved the fact that I was able to get to share that for you guys. And share that with you guys. That's so exciting. I do remember that. Oh, you know what? We're going to have a best of. Kathy says we had a reel-to-reel. Yes, we did. Well, we had a reel-to-reel. We just didn't, do anything with it. I think what I'm going to have to do... My dog is on his bed and just rolled over. I will have to do, like, what Laura Lynn at Mom and Pop Quilt Shop does. We're going to have like a puppy cam. We're just going to have to do a puppy cam, I think. It's going to have to go in the works. I'm just going to have to. Because he's got me laughing. And I don't have a fig leaf sensor, so I do apologize in advance. He is a boy. He is all boy. He's fixed, but he's all boy. You know how some of them just are definitely their gender? Yeah, he's definitely. It would be very unladylike if he were not a he. If he were a she, it'd be very unladylike behavior. But he's so funny. I'm sorry, you guys. Yeah, random talking about the dog. It just means he's comfortable, I guess. And he's finally chilled out and realized that Mom's not getting off the live for him yet. And Mom's apparently okay enough to not get off the live. But yeah, I think what I may do is in advance of the drawing for the giveaway, I may have to go back and do a best of. Like, I may have to go download all my videos where we did show and tell and go copy all of this. Stacking 33s was my playlist, says Susie. Kathy said, oh, y'all, I have to go. Just notice what time it is. Oh, yeah, 4:30 will be early, and you need to finish meal preps. Oh, yeah. Yep, you got to go. I'm sorry. Good night. Thank you for being here. It was special that you showed up. Thank you. Thank you. I figured you're probably going to have to work because you were up late last night with me. Everybody's saying good night to Kathy. You guys are awesome. I think I got like 12 blocks left, if that. Like, I don't have a lot left, you guys. This is fantastic. This is absolutely fantastic. Kathy says, wish I could stay longer. Oh, I know. That's what replay is for. Replay is for catching the stuff that you missed. Both before and after you join. Replay is fantastic. Do I get to replay everybody? No, I do not. I actually replayed Russ. Russ had his Labor Day live this morning and was sewing a Christmas tree block. And he had like 6 more to go after the one that he sewed on the live. And then the one he had previously sewn, so he had 2 out of 8 done. So he had 6 more to go. And it cracked me up. He said something and I was laughing hysterically at it, but I don't remember what he said. I need to make a notepad and keep it by the machine or keep it, wherever I'm watching, on my computer or whatever, so that I can make a note when somebody says something funny, that I can make a note of it and remember it later, because that is my worst gift. Like, it is a gift. I am very talented in it, but it is a worst gift to have. Because I think of something, or somebody says something, and I laugh about it, and then I can't remember what it was later. But yeah, I think a best of would be fantastic. Oh, I think that's an amazing idea. So I'll do is after the October show and tell, is I will go back through all the first Tuesdays. July was the second Tuesday because we had a snafu with the first Tuesday of the month. I had to step out for the first Tuesday. But all the other first Tuesdays, when we have done show and tell, I will go download my videos, and then I will do a compilation of all of the show and tell entries, so you guys can see, kind of a slideshow kind of thing. So you guys can see all of the different entries for show and tell across the 6 months. I think that would be fantastic because it's a great refresher too. Because you'll see some that are quilt tops in 1 month, and then a month or 2 later you are seeing them holding up a finished bound quilt. Quilted and bound. And it's fantastic to see progress like that. Like, it's so encouraging. I mean, if somebody else can finish it, so can I, right? That's my mentality. If somebody else can finish something, so can I. Even if what I finish is not as grand as, whatever I'm looking at, or it's not as colorful, or it's not as in my opinion, not as pretty. It's always fantastic to have them come together like that. So, yeah, we might do that. We might do a recap. Okay, yeah. I'm just rambling off to myself. Don't mind me. I'm having intelligent conversations here. If you are a person who talks to themselves and somebody walks by and asks who you're talking to, just tell them that you're talking to yourself. You needed an expert opinion. We are almost done. I have none on the floor, you guys. They are across my lap and hanging off, and that's it. We are almost to the end of them. I'm so excited. And what I'm going to do is I will pull out the first 50, how many ever are the full blocks, or the first 84 or whatever that are full blocks. And then the rest of them I will set aside and not press immediately, so that way I can rip them apart so that they are half units on that diagonal, because I'm going to have to take my time ripping them. But it was a lot easier to assemble them this way than try to figure out partial assembly. Don says, woohoo! Oh, he's getting excited about this quilt. I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. I am still hoping that I will have this piece by Friday, but if not, I should have it all pieced, both quilt tops pieced by Saturday, or at least by this weekend. Wednesday is a bust. I have, what is the next sew along? Let's see. The freebie this month is going to be September 12th. 12th night. Hang on. Let me grab the calendar. Let's see. We are looking at September 12th, 19th, and 26th. Chloe says, congrats on the progress. This is what I got left, you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. Plus the one I've got in front of my machine. Okay, so the bobble quilt is going to be the next freebie quilt. It is a pattern that I came up with. It is based off of an AccuQuilt cutting die. So September 12th, 19th, and 26th is a freebie quilt for September. The one after that is we are going to do a, let's see, the weekend after the 26th, we are going to do a Zoom retreat. So you do not have to be present here. The Zoom will be off YouTube. So you will not be live on YouTube if you decide to join the Zoom retreat. That will be the weekend after the 26th. In October, we are going to do an extended live for sewing together the Halloween blocks, the Halloween Town. If you look back here in this corner, these purple and dark purple blocks back here, I've got 11 of them done now. We are going to do an extended sew to put those together. I know a lot of people are not going to have those sewn or have those embroidered. So that is going to be more just kind of hang out, sew along. After that, we will start, as far as a project, we are going to start in November with Land That I Love. It is in the Celebrate with Quilts book by Lissa Alexander and Susan Ake. It is, you do have to buy the book, and you would have to buy your own fabric, because I will not be able to give you measurements, but we are going to do all of those blocks, and we are slated to finish that in July of 2025. Then in January, we are going to start Fab Farm. It is an Elizabeth Hartman pattern. I do have the kit for myself. I did buy the kit. You do not have to buy the kit, but if you want the measurements to be able to sew it, you do need to get the pattern. So Fab Farm by Elizabeth Hartman. Let me see. I want to say that there's one more on the slate. Let me grab my sheet because I did see it earlier. Let's see. That's the good thing about bright yellow legal pad. Jess is headed to bed. She says, have a great night, everyone. Fourth graders wait for no one. True. See you at Show and Tell. Good night, Tammy and friends. Good night, Jess. Thank you for being here. All right. Let's see. That is actually everything that I've got so far here. So starting next week, because this will be done before next week, starting next week, I am pulling out a pattern that I am testing for Mama J Enterprises. I will not be able to give measurements for those either, but those will be replayable. So if you decide to buy the pattern from Mama J Enterprises, once it is published, you will have the sew along that you can come back to in order to watch that. So that is next week's sewing time. And I'm not sure exactly how my live time will work and all of that with it, but we are going to work on that. Susie says Fab Farm sounds fun. Yes, it will be. I know Chloe said she is looking to start Fab Farm in January as well. And I want to say Sean was looking at doing some of the Fab Farm as well again. He may be doing, I know he's doing the produce section one right now. But so he may pick up Fab Farm as well, again in January, because he may be doing another one. I'm not sure, but that was the word on the street that I heard. Fab Farm is super cute. Now, with that being said, I am issuing a pattern out. I'm trying to get it done so that I can finish my testing process for it. The pattern will be issued. I am hoping to issue it out available for purchase in January. I want to have it issued by January 1st, if at all possible. That is a temperature quilt. So if you have ever wanted to do a temperature quilt, this is a temperature quilt with a twist. Most temperature quilts are done with squares or rectangles or flying geese or, any number of different things. Mine is a double wedding ring. Double wedding ring is not a for the faint of heart quilter, but we are going to sew it together. So starting in January, we will also have a temperature quilt sew along as well. So you do have to buy the pattern. I have promised the pattern to one person, but the pattern will be available. I am hoping to have the pattern completely tested and done by Christmas Day, so that I have 1 week to finish up the print for it and get it published. So it is going to be one that you'll have to do some prep work for, but we can do that all together. So if you are looking at doing a temperature quilt, that is one that you can do as well. When I moved here to Wyoming, one of the things people told me is that if you can get past the wind, you can survive here. So one of the things that is going into my temperature quilt for my values, I am actually doing 2024 values, so I don't have to get 2025 values. So mine is 2024. It's the first full calendar year that I will have lived in Wyoming. And so I am pulling Casper values for this year. That will be my personal quilt that I'm doing next year as the sew along. My background fabric is going to be black, and the other colors are red, green, orange, and blue, I believe. Yes, red, green, orange, and blue. And so I will, of course, be able to keep up because I'll already have all my values. But I am doing high for the day, low for the day, the wind speed, and the barometric pressure. And that is because I typically am very reactive to barometric pressure. So that's why I wanted to track that for 2024. The quilt that I am doing as the sample quilt is high, low, difference between the high and low, and the wind speed. And that is for Birmingham in 1963 and 64. Laura says I posted a few things just now for Show and Tell. I hope I didn't overdo it. I don't go on Facebook much, but did just for you, Tammy. Thank you, Laura. And again, anybody who is in the chat or who is watching this on replay, if you guys do not feel comfortable going on Facebook, you do not have to. I will not make you. You are comfortable enough being here on YouTube, and that is fine with me. You can always send me an email. Just let me know that what you're sending me is for show and tell and what you would like for your description of your post. So like, I made this for my granddaughter's second birthday, or, I've, worked on this off and on for the last 10 years and finally finished, a block, or, again, I haven't, they aren't all specific to quilting, but all fiber. It's perfect. That's okay. That is okay. And you still have October to enter as well. So you'll still have a little bit of time. So yeah, it's all about, being able to celebrate those little victories. So even if it is, I have worked on piecing these pinwheels for 3 days straight, and my points match. If that's what you want to celebrate, let me celebrate with you. Please let me celebrate it with you. That is what Show and Tell is all about, is celebrating with you for your whatever achievement that you are wanting to say that you're achieving at this point. And it is also to leave inspiration for others. We have had fabric beads submitted. We have had all kinds of different things, like scrappy bowls. I mean, we've had lots of different things submitted. And it is all about celebrating the creativity and the ingenuity. And the fact that, whatever you've made, somebody else probably wants to see it. So, it's more about that than anything else. All right, so guess what? Last pair. All right, so all of these are trimmed apart. And so what I will do is I will come in here, and with my seam ripper, I will clip this little bitty thread that's in the middle, and I will rotate these. Before I do that, what I'm going to do is I will go back to that notebook that I put back over there and find out how many blocks of each I need. So how many are the full blocks, and then how many are the half blocks. So I will go looking for the full blocks and looking for the half blocks, and I will create a separate pile for all the half blocks, because every half block is going to make another half block. So instead of this, and this is why I went ahead and put it together. So instead of ripping along this line that I just put here to make this a half block, because this is going to be on point, I'm going to be having to rip along here. So this diagonal line is what's going to get ripped. And so I'll end up with this this triangle, and I will end up with this triangle. So I will have two. And no, it may not be turned the same direction as what the printout is, but they're all still going to be gorgeous, and they're all turned the same way, which is what matters when it comes down to it. So, and because these are batiks, these are going to lay super nice and flat. I didn't have to add any extra starch. So when my client went ahead and washed and pressed the fabric for me and went ahead and added starch for me, they saved me a lot of time. I have never had a client do that for me, and if I could have every client follow my directions and do stuff for me like that, fantastic. Saves me a lot of time, saves them a lot of money, because that's time I'm not having to charge them for. And when I am doing this on live, it's charged at halftime, because I'm not going to charge. I mean, I'm sitting here talking, I'm reading chat, I'm, stopping to pull a book, I'm stopping to pull my calendar, all of that kind of stuff. So I don't want anybody to pay for, time that I'm not actually working. It's that kind of thing. All right, so it is 9:16 here, so it is not yet 10, and we got like 45 minutes before it is, but I feel good. I feel good. We have accomplished a lot. Let me see if I can zoom out. I couldn't zoom in. Oh, well, now I can zoom in. What the world? Okay. So it wouldn't let me zoom in earlier, but now it would. But now look at how many I got, guys. And I even dropped a couple, and they're still gorgeous. They are still very gorgeous. So, all right. So yeah, we have a lot going on. So it's super exciting. Chloe says that she will have to check out your post, Laura. Yes, absolutely. All right. So I will be back 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time tomorrow. If you are going to get in any more Show and Tell items before Show and Tell tomorrow starts, Show and Tell starts at 6. You know, I may get on and we may chat for a few minutes depending on how many Show and Tell items I have in total. And it may run a little long depending on how many Show and Tell items we have. It just really depends. But if you want to get your Show and Tell in, it is 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Tuesday, September 3rd. Susie is going to bed. Night all. Welcome. You're very welcome to go to bed, Susie. Good night. Thank you for hanging out with us. Laura says, I will celebrate big time if I can sew tomorrow for just a little bit of time. I want to try out the Laura Star Iron my hubby surprised me with for our anniversary. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you got to try that thing out. Chloe says, I hope to have 1 or 2 to be determined. Absolutely. So yeah, if you want to get those in for tomorrow, just make sure they're in by 3 p.m. Mountain Time. I do set that cutoff time so that way if something does come in, I don't feel guilty about not grabbing it. But that gives me enough time to have everything prepped. So I will have everything by then. So we will meet here 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time tomorrow. The live should already be up on the schedule. I believe it is. Let me go take a look. Let's see. Lives. Yeah. Let's see. I've got September 10th. Do I have September 3rd? Yes, I do. I do have September 3rd already up there. It is episode 32. So if you do not have your notifications turned on for episode 32, go turn those on. That is tomorrow night's Show and Tell live. And then you guys will be seeing me for sure on Saturday, September 7th at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So that will be the next time that I am guaranteed to be on. I may be on before then, but I don't know for sure. But I will for sure be on Saturday. So I will see you guys tomorrow night and then again on Saturday. All right. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel by hanging out and chatting. I appreciate it. If you have not hit that like or the dislike button before you head out, please do so that YouTube knows that you like the content or you dislike it. Either one. It's fine with me. All right.